hello.
And we're live.
Live,
really.
and we're live now for us, but not
Yes, we are live. You guys are in the future.
someday when you guys make this a super popular podcast, maybe we'll do some live, but who knows? But right now, no, absolutely not.
No, that would take time and effort it's not that we don't have the time and effort, but we don't have spare time and effort.
I mean, I probably do. I'm just lazy, so I can't be bothered.
True.
Yeah.
Well, today we're doing the 20th anniversary of the Royal Rumble 2002.
Indeed.
I guess that would have been on...
Good call on Sean's part. He was the one that came up with the idea of doing the 15th and the 20th, so good idea. I like it.
Yeah, as this one airs, we're already 3 weeks past the actual anniversary, but as we're recording, we're pretty much spot on here. It's about 20 years to the date. And this one was at the brand new stadium at the time. I don't even know if it had a name. They didn't really refer to it by a name during the event. But apparently it was a sold out crowd. It was the
Phillips Arena.
All right. Yeah, it was the Hawks place. 16,106 sold out that brand new arena. There were signs literally everywhere. It was a sold out crowd. So many Flair signs because you're in Atlanta.
It looks like it was just the Hawks.
Okay.
And hockey, but I don't know if they does Georgia have a hockey team?
I wouldn't know.
I should know, but I don't think I'm going to go with no, and we're going to move on with our lives because this is a wrestling podcast, not a hockey.
Well, Meltzer said that Sky Sports officially announced that the Royal Rumble would air as a pay-per-view event on January 15th on Sky box office for about £14, which is about $20 US in the UK. And that's actually the first time that an American pay-per-view event didn't air as a free show in the UK. And depending on the success, it could have led to changes in the UK fans getting pay-per-views. Yeah.
I didn't know that they got free pay-per-views up till. What the hell? Even more reason that they're better than us. Damn.
Yeah, their contract ran out at the end of 2004, and I think things changed.
Gotcha.
Meltzer was expecting them to increase to 2 pay-per-views a month right away with the draft split. I don't think they did it right away.
Did they ever do... they did do 2 pay-per-views for a not a very long time, though. It was pretty short. No. And then they did like the one, and then they mixed at the big 4.
Yeah, on months when they did stuff like Taboo Tuesday, I'm pretty sure there were 2 pay-per-views that month. But
yeah,
I don't think it was every month.
No, but we're getting real close. We're getting real close to the brand split. Getting close.
Yep. And the plan at that point, he said, seemed to be running the 4 pay-per-views that were formerly under contract to Channel 4 for free airing as pay-per-view events. So meaning probably the big 4. I assume that would be the Rumble, Mania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam. He said the show would air live starting at 1 a.m. and then replayed every 4 hours for 7 straight days. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I guess if you paid for it, you got it.
You got it a lot. Well, I remember back in the day, you used to, when you bought a pay-per-view, didn't you get an immediate re-airing of it right after?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure at least you got at least the one replay.
Yeah, at least
I don't know if you might have had to pay for it later.
No, I think it was you pay for it later, but like for wrestling, because a lot of people record the pay-per-view. If something goes wrong on the first one, we didn't have DVR back then.
Oh, yeah, no, you miss it.
VHSs that you hope your mom sets the recording to go long enough after your bedtime that you can see the end of the show, because Raw was notorious for going 15, 20 minutes over every night.
Yep, and USA let them for years.
Yeah. And this wasn't like WCW where they go over and, that important match, just no one gets to see it. It's gone.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Well, then Alvarez said the WWF, before that was Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez says the WWF and Jim Ross did one of their conference calls. And at that time, Jason Bernstein opened the call and announced that the Royal Rumble would not be on DirecTV, which I couldn't find anything more of relevance on that. But he said he thinks they're to the point now where if they come to an agreement for the next show, it will still take something like 33 months to make up for the lost revenue from the last 4. So that tells me that they actually have not been on DirecTV or not been able to reach an agreement with DirecTV for a few months here. So I wasn't aware of that. We had like Dish Network and Cox and stuff like that. I never
Well,
had
and we were
DirecTV.
at this time we were fucking 12. We don't know we don't care about that shit. We're playing Prom
Yeah.
Wars and watching wrestling, bro.
Yep. But the pay-per-view was already sold out, and I think WrestleMania was already sold out at that point. So it's kind of interesting that DirecTV hadn't come to an agreement.
Yeah, no, it's not like wrestling was in a. It was in a boom period still, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people argue that ended with WrestleMania 17 and the Austin heel turn. But if you look at the audience here, it's still
they're
really,
hot.
really hot.
It's packed and they're hot. Yeah, I think it kind of after the brand split died down, they kind of went, this is kind of stupid. I wanted to see everybody at one place. I don't want to like have to pick and that kind of thing, maybe. So,
But if you're watching this one on Peacock, it's season 15, episode 1.
God, yeah, yep, yes, it is. And if you're watching this on Peacock. Peacock sucks because it kept doing that thing where it loads for some reason, asks me if I want to replay from the beginning, and takes my sound and puts it at half bar. It's like, God, stop doing this. And of course it's blurry for a bit. It's not. I checked my internet, wasn't my fucking internet. It's fucking the Peacock fucking bullshit.
Yep. It opens up with an interesting video package. It's like still images and sound bites playing like historical stuff, and then there's just Undertaker. I'll be the only dog in the middle of the ring.
Yeah,
and I was like, that got weird quick.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm first thing I want to say. I like non-stadium shows so much better. Like this is a wrestling venue. Like a stadium venue. It can be cool. Like. But it's almost never as good. Like I saw Mania at the Cardinal Stadium, which is a stadium, but it has a closable dome because it's Arizona. It's fucking 18,000 degrees here. So during the day, so at the beginning of the show, they opened they had it closed. They opened the thing, and like as they opened it, you could hear all the sound going away. I was like, this is dumb. This is kind of like before it was just like I think that was the year they did the gimmick battle royal, maybe, or I don't know. There was something, or a battle royal happened. I don't know. I like non-stadium. I miss the MSG shows. Like I still think every 10 years they should have said fuck it and do now it'd be perfect. They're doing 2 days of WrestleMania going forward. It seems. Do one of the days at fucking Madison. And not like that one. Was it the Raw anniversary where they did half the show there and nothing happened there?
Well, they did half the show in the Hammerstein Ballroom, and then the other half was in the Barclays Center. So what they should have done is do half the show in Barclays and half the show at Madison. They shouldn't have messed with Hammerstein because I get what they were trying to do, the old school Raw feel, but it just didn't. Yeah,
that wasn't Raw. That was ECW. Just fuck off.
Yeah, now that Raw's a 3-hour show, I don't know how you didn't split that right in the middle and have an hour and a half of action at each venue. It just
now that now that Raw's a 3-hour show, I don't know how you haven't cut it back to a 2-hour show. To be fair, that's all. That might be about the time I stopped regularly watching WWE. Was when, like, for 2 or 3 weeks, I was excited about the 3 hours, and then I went, "Oh no, this isn't. This is a lot of nothing." I can't. And then I stopped watching SmackDown. Then I just, a few years, you just read things. You're like, this is good enough. Occasionally you see a match. You're like, hold on, Punk and Bryan? Let me go check that out.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was a tangent. But yeah, fuck stadiums. Also, rest in peace, WWF New York. One place I always, as a kid, really wanted to go.
Oh yeah, when it cuts to that shot, I mean, even that place is white hot. Like the crowd there is.
It always is. Like I'm guessing it died because unless there was an event happening, I'm guessing it was just completely dead because no one's there. It
died because they changed the name to WWE The World when they changed.
Oh, they did. Oh yeah. Also, fun fact: this is the last WWF Royal Rumble in history ever. Facts. We're very close to the get the F out, which I thought was a pretty cool. So I think right now, technically, according to Prom Wars, this is WWFE, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the company is named that. If you see later in the event, there is a "Don't try this at home" ad, and the URL at the bottom says WWFEparents.com.
Yeah, so we're getting close to. Yeah, the Pandas are winning right now. That's the
stock symbol. That's the stock symbol. World Wrestling Federation Entertainment Incorporated.
Yeah, so we're about to have that change, and I hated it at first. I don't really care anymore. Some people still hate it. I'm like, why? They changed their name. It's not like they chose to change their fucking name. Vince would not have changed it.
They lost one of very few court cases that they ever lost.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it kicks off with the Dudleys and the Duchess of Dudleyville, and the crowd pops when she gets in the ring, as always. King is in pure perv mode.
Yeah, so we got JR and Lawler here, class, as expected about this time. This again before the split, so they're the only pair. We're really close to getting Taz and Cole, right, take over for one of them.
Well, I think they already do SmackDown, but they don't usually do the pay-per-views. Unless it's Taz, but Michael Cole is all over this event as a
oh my god. As a strapping young lad with this fucking frosted
the backstage
hair.
interviewer / ramp interviewer / wherever interviewer, and then Taz is actually right here in this first match. So Taz is not on commentary tonight.
On
the original broadcast, Taz came out to a new song by Cypress Hill called Thug Superstar, but obviously that's been replaced with Taz's Jim Johnston music on the network.
I didn't know that. Right? I actually mentioned here because I don't. So, spoiler alert, Sean does all the actual, historical knowledge. I kind of just watch this and rant as I go through. That's what I'm doing for. So I didn't know that, but I mentioned I liked his theme. I mentioned I didn't like it as much as because that's the forcible entry theme, right?
Yep.
That one's pretty. So they're both good. I don't hate it. It's good. It's still a pretty rockin' theme. I like it. But it's also funny that Spike Dudley, he's always portrayed as the tiny man. He's taller than Taz.
Oh, yeah.
By a good couple inches.
I actually don't remember this team very well.
I didn't remember
it at all.
I said that. I forgot he and Spike were a team. Or they won the titles. Who fucking knew? I didn't.
Yeah.
I actually kind of forgot Stacy was with the Dudleys, too. I don't remember why that happened. It just happened, I think.
I remembered that, but I don't remember it working with them as a heel team. It just seems counterintuitive because no matter what you're going to do, she's kind of going to just lose their heat for them as heels.
Yeah. And so we get into the action. And first thing I want to say before anything happens, this show immediately 2 seconds in, hotter and better than the 97. That match was slow and plodding. This is what I like in an opening match. We immediately get the Dudleys clearing the fucking ring. They go out, hit a big backdrop neckbreaker tag team move onto Taz on the outside, which takes him out for a good chunk of the match. They then hit the same one on Spike, and apparently Spike has a neck injury because they hit the 3D on the concrete or asphalt on SmackDown. They said,
and they take off they work his neck for a bit, and then the Bubba takes off the protective collar, and then
we have our first classic of many King quotes of the night from the horny pervert himself. Oh my goodness, I'd like to play doctor with Stacy Keibler. Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
So that happened because we get a very odd. You'll find out later, but Jerry is not only horny for ladies. We find out a little bit later, and it gets creepy. Trust me, I noticed and I took note of it a lot. But it is cool. Bubba hits a couple brain busters, which is something you don't really see in WWE/F.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I like to see those. I've never been a big fan. I think they're kind of less brain busters and more like shoulder breakers almost. But
right.
I do like that they're doing, because you don't see Bubba do brain busters to people, so they're kind of working with the neck thing. So that's cool.
Right, but then the crowd starts chanting "We want tables anyway," which kind of proves my point with Stacy as the they can't get heat because no matter what, they're kind of a gimmick team.
Yeah, you can't.
Bubba hates it when people say that, but it's
Bubba's I'm gonna.
He's a grumpy Gus. He's a really grumpy Gus.
He's very grumpy. He does not like.
If you listen to Busted Open,
I like the Busted Open podcast. I like a lot of their stuff, and he's good in it. But yeah, like his tweets and stuff, he's very salty about shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Spike hits the. So it's the Dudley Dog / acid drop / Tristratus move, because it's all three. But I think it's a Dudley Dog. I remember it as the acid drop just because I liked that Spike more, but yeah.
In Alvarez's review of the match, he refers to it as the Dudley Dong, and I don't know if that's a typo or if that's on purpose, but I couldn't stop laughing.
That's a better name. I like that. But so he hits that, and we're going to find out going forward, this is not a protected finisher. like
No.
Baron Corbin's End of Days, which, fun fact, no one's ever kicked out of.
No.
It is WWE. No, WWE career since 2014. Not once has anyone kicked out of the End of Days.
Oh gosh.
But the Dudley Dog not as effective apparently, because he does it. It's basically just we have finishers and we have signatures. We all agree to that.
Yeah.
This is at this point it's not his finisher yet. I'd say this is his signature. That's all it is, because he does it a couple times. It's like the V trigger. Could it be a finish?
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan used it basically as a finish for a while. But Kenny Omega, half the offense is it. And I'm not saying that's bad. Cornette probably hates it. Oops, I said the name. But,
well,
Yeah.
I mean, does he have another move that is his finisher?
Omega? Or Dudley?
No, Dudley.
Oh, I was going to say,
Right.
Omega, yeah, he's got the convoluted,
The
the
one-winged
most
angel,
convoluted
yes.
move in wrestling. Which
course,
I love.
but-
I love that it's a storyline in his matches, by the way, how convoluted his finish is. But yeah, no, I don't think Spike, as far as I know, that's all he's ever done. But yeah, it's not a
So
finisher
then it has to
here.
be his finisher. It just doesn't finish matches because he doesn't
Yeah.
win matches.
Also, back to King. I'm going to back up King here. I know I said he's a horny pervert, but whoever is in soft cam is the side the camera's on, right? So soft cam side, front row. Stacy Keibler is wearing a very short skirt, bent over the ring, and anyone sitting there I'll just say it's a lot better than us having to see Tito Santana's gaping asshole and balls. It's a better view.
Yes. Of the three, events we've watched so far, I think that
This is better than man ass, I'd say. Although Tito's ass, it was, I won't shit on it. It's pretty good. Well, it's what it is. But yeah,
I'll just
double
let
down.
you get out. I'll let you dig
double
your way
down.
out of that one.
Yeah, double down in the ring. Devon runs in, ref pushes him back. So this is another ongoing theme here I forgot about, where the referees, they all have to have a gimmick. Like Earl Hebner's gimmick is he will push the fuck out of you and fight you, basically.
Yep.
And I think Earl's in this. I don't know who it is, but I use that, and it's part of it. So Spike, here's my mandatory wrestling referee complaint. So Devon just runs in, right, as Spike and Bubba are down. He runs in. The referee goes, no, go away. Devon walks back. Taz goes to, as he's doing that, Spike tags Taz. You can hear it. Taz goes to get in. The referee, no, you can't be in here. At least 10 seconds. The referee is just arguing at Taz. Well, Taz is literally just pointing over there. You can hear the fucking shit happening as the Dudleys are double teaming Spike.
Yep, and they clear the ring and cut him off from the tag.
Yeah, huge flapjack. But the dumbest part of that is after Taz gets out, Devon is in and Bubba's out. So they've swapped. The referee didn't see them tag, and he goes, tag. No! 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 You can't. You just... you know how I like to point out I think it's just now, watching live, you probably don't care. When you're stopping the show because you're typing shit, this stuff really drives me crazy. And later on, we're going to get another equally dumb thing. But you can't... Just do the same thing. If you're going to say they can't, well, I didn't see you tag, make your tag
if you go back
on.
and watch right before he tries to get in the ring there in the first place and he starts stomping on the apron, it looks fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But once the tag is finally made, which is after another little bit of back and forth, it is a super hot tag. So I get what they were getting at, but it's still just meh. But once Taz is in there, seriously, nobody does suplexes like Taz. Nobody.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I brought it up I think twice during this, because I think twice in this match he gets nice little combos, and he just hits at his first one didn't look very good, but then after that they were all good.
I'll say there's one person that seems to hit them similar, and that's Hook. I don't know if you got to see his debut yet. Or his second match.
Not. I've heard good things though, so
it's good. And they just ran a vignette that was actually really awesome on Rampage the other day. That was Taz breaking down his recent matches with a telestrator, like John Madden style, and explaining how the suplexes work, and it was so good.
See, it's the thing I love. I get you don't need Brock Lesnar only needs to know a German. I don't care. That's his thing. But I like to know the names of all these really weird, odd suplexes. Because I fucking, like, in wrestling games, I always, I don't want a fucking German. Everyone does that shit. No. I want the reverse fucking Tiger Driver or double
And
underhook.
Taz has a new name for the Taz mission. Hooks is called Red Rum, but it's still the
Hey,
Kaji.
Sean, that's murder backwards.
Oh, I know.
I didn't know if you knew that. Everyone that's murder backwards. Get it? Hey.
Shit.
That's the first bottle of rum I ever bought when I turned 21 was Red Rum rum.
Oh, yeah?
Fun
I think
fact.
I've had that before.
Fun fact. It's very fruity.
Yeah.
As a vodka man now, disgusting. I'm disappointed in my younger self. But yeah, so Taz goes in there. Crowd pops pretty big for a suplex. It's like, I'll say this. I always feel Taz got the short end of the stick, literally. He did great as a commentator. But, like, they just never took him seriously as a wrestler because he was small. And it's because he was short. And Vince, too short, can't win. Bah.
Yeah. But the crowd pops huge for Taz giving Stacy the Taz mission in her distraction spot.
So Stacy gets up on the rope after Taz is doing his thing, and she goes for the biggest wind-up slap I have ever seen. And Taz
it looks like the kind you see in No Mercy and in the games, like where she draws all.
And then, like, the combo, they hit it, block it, do the little baby slap. Yeah. It's like that. And so he just backs away and she spins around on there and he locks it in. And the crowd goes fucking nuts, which is weird because they all clearly love Stacy, but I think they love female violence more. It seems that way. And,
I mean, we were at the Raw where Vince McMahon, like, mopped the floor literally with Trish Stratus, right? So
moving on before we're canceled. So Taz locks it in. Devon saves her. Spike hits. He goes to hit the third Dudley Dog of the night. Devon, I will say another thing I want to give Spike credit, as always, here. Dude's always got his bumping shoes on. He takes some of the most insane bumps. Devon just throws him clean over the rope. Like, he wasn't even flat on his back. He kind of landed on his neck. It was ugly. But if you've ever seen you've seen the Spike spot where he got thrown over and missed the table mostly? Clipped it with his head. Yeah, he's got a lot of ugly bumps.
He doesn't necessarily seem to know where to put his body once he's midair.
Well, I don't even know if it's his choice because he's so small. They just kind of fucking fling him, and he just has to hope for the best. So after that, Taz locks in the Taz mission on Devon after that, and taps out. Taz and Spike retain via submission about 5 minutes, I think it went, something like that.
Yeah, so that was it was 5 minutes and 6 seconds, and that's basically Meltzer's review of the match. Was nothing particularly wrong with this match other than it came off like a SmackDown match because of the time frame. And he said he thought most people were likely expecting a title change here. He gave it 1.5 stars.
Oh dear. Okay. So my the better, the more accurate is short, sweet, did pretty well given they only got 5 minutes. It's it's not the wrestler's fault. They only got 5 minutes. I think for 5 minutes they did really good. Taz was all the offense. Spike took all the bumps. Everyone got a little bit of a segment. There were no rest holds. Everyone was going the whole time. And that's what I looked for in an opener. Short, quick, to the point. Get some action. Let's get everyone riled up. I don't need an 18-minute plodding, slow wrestling match to start the show. So I can't give it a high rating because it's only 5 minutes. Like, there is a limit. But I'd say for a 5-minute match, this is really about what if you have a 5-minute match, watch this match, take notes from it. I gave it a 5 out of 10, right in the middle. It's one of the better 5-minute matches you'll see. If they'd been given 10, 15, would it have been as good? I doubt it. I feel like they would have had to slow down. So I think they did good. And weirdly enough, no table gimmick here. Like now, like after this, like shortly after, we have never seen the Dudleys even in matches that have nothing to do with tables, not at least use a table. So I think this is
at some point became a parody of themselves, and I think this was the last year that they had a serious run. I think this is the year they leave. No, they left the next year because they split, and Devon becomes Reverend Devon, and then Bubba goes off.
And he has the fantastic promo about, was it masturbation, right? Like it's masturbation.
Something. We'll see. We'll get there. We're working on it this year.
Can't wait for that.
2002. But after the match, we get a pre-match promo between Edge and Lillian Garcia. And I know we really liked Edge back then, and we wanted him to have a singles run, but this is far from his best promo work.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me. Like, Edge is borderline in my top 5. I've always liked him, but I kind of think of Edge as Edge and Christian being goofy. And then I kind of blow over the whole... Like, at this point, it feels like he's still feeling out the singles character, you know?
Right.
Because once he's rated R Superstars, promos are fucking gold. That is one of the best characters in wrestling ever. I feel like... And he's a face, technically, but he does... Everything he does is heelish. Yeah,
he's like scaring Lillian here. He just hit the ref with a chair.
So... I don't know. This is before his first neck injury, right?
I believe so.
Because I think he comes back after the brand split, and he's like one of the first big free agents. So this is kind of like his, toward the end of this run is when everyone thought he's about to break out as main eventer, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, I think the end of this run is like this summer when he beats Kurt Angle in the hair versus hair match.
Yeah,
and then
and then
he remember.
Yeah, he gets hurt, and then he comes back, and then we start evolving from there. But yeah, so this is kind of like in between Edge, which is okay. It's better than original Edge, where he just no words, can't say words. He's just there. He just smiles and he's broody and angsty.
But like his driving point is that tonight the devil gets burned, and I'm just like, that is not a good closing line.
Yeah, that's a terrible. Like I appreciate wrestlers that don't have a catchphrase that they have to shill. Like Edge, Edge never had a catchphrase really, other than his name. He's the Rated R Superstar. He didn't have like a
they called him things like they called him the ultimate opportunist, but he didn't call himself that shit usually.
I mean, he did. He referred to it, but yeah. So it's not a great promo. And I said here, he gets better on the mic, but right now he's kind of in between. It's not great.
Yeah, and so even though we don't get the Cypress Hill song for Taz, we do get Never Gonna Stop for Edge. So
you've skipped the first part. We didn't get the He's a Man theme. I don't think that existed yet, sadly.
No, that was before this. That was his first run.
I don't know why he ever stopped using that. Did you see the video where he got trolled by Brian in a match like long ago?
Oh yeah, that was great.
He just walking out. He's a
man. A real man's man.
Oh yeah, Willie Regal versus Edge. Edge is the defending Intercontinental Champion at this point, and William Regal is the dastardly, evil British foreign heel man
with the power of the punch.
Yeah, but yeah, so we do get the Never Gonna Stop theme, and again, it's one of those things I know existed, but I usually forget it because he didn't use it long before he got hurt, and when he came back, I think he came back with his
original song. I think it was his original song, and then he got the Alter Bridge song a little bit after that.
Okay. I did say, again, we're going to have a discussion about that, like best theme song eras. Because, it's cool to hear, like we were huge Rob Zombie fans at this time. So, hearing this, we were like, oh my God, I know that. That's Rob Zombie. I know him. And even though certain people called it the wrong album, kind of the Sinister Surge.
Michael Cole.
Yeah, Michael is. There's no S in that. Not accurate, but yeah. So he came out to that again. I did mention not as iconic as the Alter Bridge, which I think is one of the most iconic band themes of all time. It's up there, but still very good and nostalgic and cool. I marked out a bit for it.
Oh yeah, I caught a sign during his entrance that says "Trish sucked in bed."
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Also. Fun fact, as before that happened, I'm sorry, I went out of order a bit. The referee is basically just groping Regal because, Regal's the power of the punch. It's brass knuckles. So the referee fishes around in his pants for a sec, gives him a little stroke for luck. And what's he? Oh, shit, brass knuckles. Damn it.
King calls him a pervert. He says, what's fair about another man putting his hand down your pants? That's going to throw him off his game now.
And first thing I said there, okay. Where is he keeping the next set? Is it up his ass? We'll find out because Regal doesn't just have one. But it is funny. They made a big deal of it. The ref's digging through the ring looking for. Finally finds him. He's like, I got him. Haha.
Well,
is that the end of that?
My favorite part about it is that he put him on the apron. He went to all that effort and then he was like, oh, right here's good.
Yeah, yeah. So I will say, Regal is. I think wrestling fans all truly appreciate Regal for being fantastic in basically every aspect.
Right.
He's one of those guys. I think all real wrestling fans are like, why didn't he get more? Like, why? Because his offense, I like offense that looks realistic and is kind of unique. Like, I don't want to, I love Michaels, but I don't need to see Shawn do the same. He does the same thing every time.
Yeah.
Wrestlers, even Bret Hart, a great wrestler, he had a series of moves that happened to every match, and you knew they were happening. That's what happened.
Well, one thing that I thought was interesting about this match is I've seen better matches from both of them. Yes. And it's not like they're both great workers at this point, but they're working at different speeds. Like Edge is still barely off the tag team run, I guess.
Yeah, so he's trying to do shit. It's almost kind of like the Goldberg Regal thing where they're not clearly it's working, but the chemistry is definitely not right. And that one's different because people say they told Goldberg to, it's going to happen. I prefer to think that Regal just fucking went, no, let's wrestle, bitch. That's what, and I think that's what Bischoff said. He said that was supposed to be squash, and Regal didn't do it, which is
I think Bischoff said Regal went into business for himself on that, which I'm okay with. I think it's kind of fun.
It makes some of the best part like that. The Hogan Michaels match. Is there a better match than that? Maybe not. Might not be. That might be the greatest selling job I've ever seen. But yeah, so a lot of cool stuff. Regal always does unique stuff. So there's a European uppercut attempt into a backslide pin.
Did you hear King during that too? He's like, how tall is Edge? And JR was like 6'4". He was like, he was 5'8", and then William Regal uppercutted him.
Yeah. To your point, I do say here, if you really want to see Regal at his best, watch. I don't know what show it is. You might remember, but it was a Finlay versus Regal match in WCW. Brian Zane.
I don't remember which show, but yeah.
And yeah, I think they literally just punched Regal's nose gets fucking broken in that match, and early on they just keep going. So if you want to see a full on brawl, go watch that. I don't know where it is. I guarantee if you Google Finlay versus Regal, it'll be the first thing that pops up.
Yeah.
But then we have a yikes moment. There's a German suplex by Regal onto Edge, and it looked like Edge was trying to do the thing where they flip onto their stomach from a very powerful one, and he landed flat on his fucking head.
Yeah, he was supposed to flip over onto his face, but instead he just stayed. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, and it was partially Edge's fault.
I mean, it was. You can. It's both people's faults a little bit, but I'm not blaming either. It's just seeing that I kind of winced knowing Edge's later problems with the neck. I was like, that didn't help.
I think it was right before that. There was a spot where Regal set Edge up for a double arm power bomb, and then Edge stood up.
That was right after, in fact.
Oh, it was right after that? Okay.
Yeah.
And then he pulled off a backdrop, but Regal holds on and then still does the power bomb.
Yeah, so Regal goes for a Dumbledore suplex. I thought it was a double underhook suplex attempt, but Edge showing a lot of power for, he's big, but he doesn't seem that big. He holds Regal up there in the underhook backwards and just kind of falls back on him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, I think it was supposed to be a pinning bridge attempt, but they kind of lost as they hit. They kind of disconnected, and then they reconnected. Regal picks him up, and yeah, it was cool. He then hit the double underhook powerbomb, actually, which I'm happy for because that's a much more impactful move than the suplex.
Right, which I don't see Regal pull off a lot of power bombs, but then he gets up in Edge's face to definitely call something, and then JR's like, it's really awkward cover there. I think it's the only way he could get a cover on him.
Yeah, because he kind of covers him like he's about to make sweet love to him, essentially.
Yeah, he's definitely telling Edge, we're going to go outside. Let's brawl a bit more.
Yeah, and I will say, going a little tangent here as we do, how do you feel about forearms in wrestling? Forearm
It depends
shots.
on who throws them. And in this match, I would say I don't think Regal needs to throw them because he can throw a good punch.
Right.
I think forearms are for people who can't throw a good punch.
Right.
But then if they suck at throwing the forearm, don't do strikes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. I said I like forearms. I feel like a lot more wrestlers should probably use them because there's a lot of ugly punches in the business. I said
agree,
Regals
at least
are good
these days.
Regals are good, but his punches are better. Edges look okay, and then I said RVD always did them. I mostly remember RVD because I don't think I ever saw him punch anyone because never.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to go on that, and I think it's effective. Like, because if you think about it, like, yeah, you're punching, but like, there's still a bone on your forearm. It's still fucking hurt.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
After
so
it spills outside, it comes back in really quick with a pin attempt where Edge's feet are like still outside the ring.
Oh, I have a little rant here if you're prepared.
Well, yeah, okay.
Fuck.
Let me say what I'm going to say so you can rant. Patrick counts to 2 until Regal puts his foot on the ropes, and I think Patrick actually can hear King at the commentary table say, "What is with this referee?" And so then he starts like audibly saying, "Your feet are under, his feet are on the ropes. Your feet are under, his feet are on the ropes." So
Sean covered it perfectly. So yeah, Edges rolled in but barely, and it brings up a debate one debate that I went on a tangent here. What is a rope break? Is a rope break grabbing a rope or placing a body part on the rope? Is it touching a rope, just touching, or is it being under a rope in and of itself? Like, what is an actual rope break? What do you think, Sean? What's your opinion?
Well, I think in a standard match, which this is not a no disqualification match, obviously, we're looking for brass knuckles. So in a standard match, I would say you can't be under the ropes either, I think. And that probably comes with my years of video game logic.
Yeah,
but that is.
Yeah, you have to drag a dude away from the rope or you have to go for a specific pin won't make his legs extend.
Right. And maybe that's not an American rule. Maybe that's the way they do it in Japan.
Maybe.
But that's...
I mean, because like to be fair, all of those are viable. Because I've seen right here, we see his legs under and he's on it. Like I believe it was Kevin Owens that had that spot a couple years ago where he got out of something by touching a rope, basically, or like it was a gimmick where he touched it. I vividly recall that. I don't know against who or for what. But
I'm sure it's a meme technically.
Yeah, but so yeah, I guess it depends. But like, I feel like it should be standard. And again, here we don't get it because the ref. It just came up, but it is hilarious. The ref, Nick Patrick, by the way, so he visibly sees it and he goes, maybe I shouldn't count, pauses for long enough for you to know he doesn't know what to do. And then he half-heartedly counts to 2. And as Regal gets his foot up, like before Regal started moving, he's going, no, never mind. And like you said, maybe he heard them from the commentary booth because they're right by it. But at that point, he's like, no, your legs are under the rope and his foot's on the rope and your legs are under the rope. I'm like, dude, just if
this is in Atlanta, right? So Atlanta knows Nick Patrick is the heel. He's the NWO referee. So maybe they're trying to like evoke some response, but it's confusing because at this point he's technically helping Edge until Regal actually breaks his pin. And so he searched for the Nux. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird.
And we'll find out later what he's all about. But yeah, it was just a very ugly, dumb, I guess not ugly. As a wrestling fan, a casual or just watching this, maybe you go, okay, cool. But yeah, again, analyzing this as we are supposed to do here, not a good look.
No, not fantastic.
Then we had an ugly, I did say the announcers did a good job of covering it. Like, he must blah, 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 whatever. So they tried, but then we have an ugly shoulder check that I think was supposed to be like a double headbutt spot, but I couldn't tell. They say it looks like it. I did say though, it's ugly, but I like spots like that. Instead of like the really dumb like things where they do like a double big boot, that in no world would that ever happen at the same time. Like this one, they just kind of plow into each other. I'm cool with that. That's fine. Or like they both go for running cross bodies. That's always a good spot,
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I just like more realistic. Like I don't mind some flippy dippy bullshit, as our buddy Corny would say, but keep it like, don't do the whisper in the wind where Kane has to stand there for 5 seconds while Jeff kind of hops up the ropes and bounces and then flippy. Just don't do that. Another big German. This time they hit it and Edge basically no sells it and then levels Regal with the clothesline. So if Edge doesn't land on his head, moves are not effective against him. as evidently. And Regal's facial fucking expressions, I always forget until I see his matches. They're so good. Like him.
Oh, he's one of the best. That's why they always do spots where somebody's pissing.
Yeah, him, Vince, and Flair, I'd say, have to have the top three. Like, it's just of a short list because Regals are so good. And yeah, so Edge goes for, I think it's the Edge DDT. It's like the big DDT. Was that the Educator? I can't remember his moves.
Was that the Execution?
Execution, maybe? Okay. I don't know. He's got a couple, so. And he went for it, and I said the DDT one. So everyone knows which one. And Regal actually locked in the Regal stretch, which is one of my favorite looking submissions. It's no fucking John Cena bullshit STF that you can put your niece in and she'll be fine. No, this looks like it fucking hurts. I've heard it fucking hurts.
Does.
I've heard it does fucking hurt. It looks great. Edge does get to the rope, though. He grabs it. So, again, that's why I asked, because earlier he's just under the rope. So if you just flail under the rope, is that a rope break? Who fucking knows? Who knows? But he grabs the rope.
Maybe it has to do with your feet. Maybe it's considered a leverage thing.
Maybe. So then Edge breaks it, and then Edge counters with his own. I thought he was going for the Edge submission move, but I don't think he did that yet. I can't remember his moves, dude. There's too many of them that had the word Edge at the beginning. But he counters it into a Regal stretch. His counters it into his own shitty Regal stretch. It was not locked in at all. We have a recurring theme this night of wrestlers doing another wrestler's finisher where they don't know how to fucking do them, and it looks like shit. If you're gonna steal someone's finisher before the show, be like, hey, how do I properly lock this in? Because, one of Regal's feet was just not there. And the whole point of that move is it puts pressure on knees. Like, it does tweak the back a bit, but it's on the knee. And one knee's out, so there's no pressure. So I'm sure Regal was thrilled. He's like, oh, hey, this is good. But
so just to answer your question, the DDT is the Execution, and the submission move is the Educator.
Educator, right? Okay, so there we go.
And then the third move, the Impact move, is the Edge-O-Matic.
That's just like the grab is like the reverse X-Pac finisher. Face buster. Okay. Big news. We get our first ever on this channel Waffle House reference from good old JR. Yes. Hey, I don't know what it was. I just heard it and I marked. Whoa, Waffle House, I know about that place. That's anyone in the know of the wrestling business knows shit happens there. That is where the stars come together after a show at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so there it is. We get it. Here it is. So Edge does a big spinny heel kick off the top rope, yada yada. But then, out of nowhere, from a secret ball compartment, comes some more brass knuckles. Who would have fucking guessed that William Regal, the heel, would have 2 sets, knowing where would be found? Crazy. Yep. I can only imagine that he had them tucked up under his ball sack. And just had the other one like just on the tip. So the ref, grabbed the tip, went, hey, wait, that's a brass knuckle. You're not going to kind of, tickle up in there. So big brain. So Edge goes for the spear. Regal pulls the referee in front of him. While the ref is down, Regal drills Edge with the knuckles. Right here, I have to say Jerry Lawler is at his best because he does the classic heel thing of, why would Edge spear the referee on purpose, JR? Why would he do that?
This whole match, he's been on fire. He's been like, why does Edge condone cheating?
Yeah, and so Regal hits it. And I will say, I like that, like, a very devastating weapon like that, because brass knuckles can kill people with one hit. So I'm glad that Edge sells that the whole time Regal wins and leaves. He doesn't move. So it's a really good sell job. But yeah, Regal with the win there with the power of the punch and a cool little after-match interview from Michael the Frosted Tips Young Man Cole, who immediately flubs his first line.
Yeah.
He flubs that, which is fine.
I do the same thing when Howard Finkel says, and no! Nobody said it quite like Howard.
No, that's true. So yeah, so he comes out, and we'll get to the actual thing in a second. I just thought this was part of it, so I rolled it in. And Regal, completely no-selling. I didn't use brass knuckles. I've been gifted with the power of the punch. And I think this might have been the first time that was named. I feel like this may have been like the beginning, and that was a gimmick he used for a couple of years. That was his thing. And I just love William Regal. I love the gimmick. Like, I love when they have a heel not do stuff like super blatant. But like, because realistically, you could say, well, if they notice he's cheating after the match, why don't they reverse the decision? Don't shut up. No. That only happens occasionally when Vince demands it. Okay. Otherwise, it stands. So what did Uncle Dave say about this match, Sean?
Well, Uncle Dave didn't say too much about it. He just gave it 2.25 stars.
Okay. Just say it's a match. It happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try and find something to quote here. It obviously must not be anything too.
Well, that's
interesting.
fine. I'll pop in with mine while you're looking. So I said, good match. That went about 10 minutes. I think it was it was just under 10 minutes. They did all right. Couple of botchy spots. Obviously, the German not good, but it was good. And I'd say it's in the middle. Good wrestling. Finish made sense based on Regal. Solid match. We have our second 5-star out of 10 in a row. An average match. Yeah. Nothing to complain about. Nothing to, get excited about.
He said, William Regal pinned Edge in 9 minutes 45 seconds to win the IC title. Nick Patrick was ref, which sort of gave away a title change was coming. Patrick didn't play heel ref early, searching for and even finding the knucks down Regal's trunks. Regal suplexed Edge nearly on his head early.
See, I'm just saying, we're hitting all the same points, man.
He also used a double arm powerbomb. Match didn't have a lot of heat early on. Regal teased a double arm powerbomb on the ring apron, but Edge reversed it into a DDT. Regal used his Regal stretch for a rope break spot, and Edge came back with the same move in a rope break spot. After a flying spin kick off the top rope by Edge, Regal pulled out a second set of knucks for the finish, 2.25.
Heel kick, damn it.
Yeah, well, he didn't even give it any opinion. He just literally stated what happened. So there you go.
Yeah, I gave it 5 out of 10, and here we have to go into something. I think I might have said it before, but just to state it, I am not like magazines. So like, Game Informer and shit, a 5 out of 10 is a bad game. That's no good. Bad. Nope. On my 0 to 10 scale, a 5 is a perfectly inoffensive match. It is a match. Can't complain. Don't like it. Can't complain. So just so everyone knows, in case you look at my things and go, well, why are you giving, a 5 isn't a bad score. It is just down the middle. So
for what it's worth, I think it's kind of interesting. I think the Regal Goldberg match that we were, mentioning is like 7 minutes. So this match only goes 2 minutes longer than that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
This is obviously a lot better than that. I don't think we would be able to give that a 5 out of 10 here.
No, I feel like we have to do like an episode or series where we just watch like single matches, like quick ones. But they're like, those meme matches in wrestling history. Yeah. And we just
people give us suggestions at TalkingSmarkWrestling@gmail.com.
If you want to see us, review just individual matches, cough, cough, Hogan Michaels, please let me talk about it. Cough, cough. We also obviously have a Twitter. Same. At talking_Smark, I believe. We do. Yeah, we did learn from the last one where we didn't know. We do have a Twitter. We have established that was a thing. We thought it was a thing. We didn't know. Now we know. We have control of it again. We have new passwords. We now have it. So go follow that because I'm trying to post funny wrestling things that I see throughout the week. So
at talking_Smark and then email at TalkingSmarkWrestling@gmail.com. Obviously, we're going to say that again at the end of the show, but just
also Facebook, we have one of those, and a Twitter and a Twitch. Now we have Twitch too. So many things. We're
gonna be streaming some stuff soon.
We're doing a lot. Well,
we should do some. We should do some Fire Pro Wrestling.
My good friend Sean did purchase that for me for a Christmas Yuletide gift.
Oh, I have Leg Day. I wonder if I can send you Leg Day. The greatest wrestler of all time.
I forgot. Yeah, we could. I mean, I don't want to steal. I'm not the one to steal gimmicks, but it's wrestling. People steal gimmicks. I think we need to eventually go into like a Steven Larson, their own, rival promotion kind of thing someday. So moving on, without giving away too many awesome plans. If you want to see that shit, tell us. We like feedback. Feedback good.
We don't get a
Jacqueline.
video package.
No,
we just go straight into Jackie.
Yeah.
And the graphic comes up for the WWF Women's Championship before either competitor is in the ring or we see a video package knowing what's going on. We just see Jackie in a ref outfit.
Yeah, so this match is Jazz and Trish Stratus,
who definitely also got stock music here. There's no way that was Jazz's theme music. There's just no way.
No,
it sounds like the background music to an auto parts commercial, and it's Jazz coming out.
Yeah, and so one thing I said is Jazz looks very angry. That was mostly her thing, and she was angry. And then Trish, oh my God, I love her so much. Trish was my boyhood crush. They finally loved her.
Aired right as Trish's entrance starts. They finally air a little backstage vignette of Jazz and Trish getting into a spill, so we get some context.
We get a Pillmanizing. She Pillmanized Trish. It happened. Also, fun fact: Trish Stratus does not have the theme you probably imagine her having either. I think this is either the TNA or a modified version of the TNA one she used for a while.
Yeah, this is a later one when she didn't have the licensed music anymore.
Yeah, and this is before. Yeah, and this is before she gets the giggly. Yeah,
the one Lil Kim. She had the Lil Kim song, and I think she doesn't have the rights to it here. So.
Oh, okay.
I think that's really what it is.
It might be. Okay. Yeah, it's not the right song. I just know Sean's going to be the one that tells me every time. Well, that's because of Sean's the musician. I just have some instruments, so he knows.
I got distracted by Jerry Lawler being distracted when he was just like purple puppies, look great in purple. I was like, oh my God.
I was like, Jesus yes, I agree, but like, can you keep it in your pants? I don't think you can whip it out live. Like
the match starts off with some pretty solid action from Jazz, and then JR literally says "big splash" right on the purple puppies at a near fall, and King goes, "Hey, that's my line." Big splash right on the purple puppies.
Yeah, there's not much to say in this match. It's pretty. It's kind of. Well, there's a little bit to say. We're the second pay-per-view in a row where a wrestler gets stuck in their jacket at the beginning of a match. Remember Stone Cold?
Jacket spot. Spot.
Yeah, dude. So Stone Cold got stuck in his jacket running into the Rumble. Trish can't get out of her jacket. She takes. I feel like she was supposed to because Jazz kind of fucking wallops. And like as a wrestler, if your hands are back, like Mick Foley talked about this when he was handcuffed, he thought he'd be fine. Evidently, taking a headshot from a chair with your hands like at their side to brace and behind your back, big fucking difference. So it kind of looked like Jazz just walloped her in the face, which
damn.
Kind of makes sense, but
yeah,
Jazz did a running splash. It happened. Jazz and Trish do the legally required at this time pin counter combination roll.
Yes,
all Divas women's matches had this, and Lawler is she?
Well, when Trish started it, there was a really fast, snappy like sunset flip, but then it started to get awkward
into the rolling, and then Lawler coming in there with the classic. Lawler pervitus. Is she sitting on Trish's face? Wait a minute, come back. Jerry, no. Stop.
Yep.
Oh, I'm glad we both hear the same things go. Did he I had to go back and go, did he just say he did? Okay, yep. And then right after that, Jazz hits Trish with a stiff forearm, and Lawler, there's a line there, but I ain't going to touch it. Get it? Because boner jokes, John. Ha! Funny, stiff. Hey, fucking Lawler. Yep. I love him, dude. I hate him, but I hate him later when he's not allowed to be a horny pervert. Like I hate it now, but it's so good. He get canceled now. I can't believe he's never been canceled before. It's amazing.
Well, he's almost been canceled several times throughout his career,
but he survived. That's pretty good.
Yep. He starts chanting "puppy power" at one point, so
yes,
that happens too.
So we get into the special guest referee that really didn't matter now. So Jackie and Jazz get into it because Jazz didn't like something Jackie did. Trish hits a roll up and Jazz pins Trish. So she reverses the roll up into the knees down, crotch and face, grab legs. I don't know the name of it, which is weird for me, but you know what I'm talking about. And then Jackie kind of does the what do I do? What do I do? For a couple seconds and then counts really slowly. And then has to stop the 3 count because it looks like Jazz is holding her too strongly and Trish can't actually kick out. And Jackie knows that's not the finish. So she kind of 1, 2, and then she kicks out. So it's pretty ugly. Doesn't look great. And then, Trish hits the Stratisfaction. which Jazz no sells, immediately counters into a pin. So I'm thinking Vince at this point just hates any variation of that move. Any Dudley Dog, he hates them. They're worst. And then Lawler calls a DDT a bulldog, but he does correct himself, so points for him for calling the move wrong and then being, big enough to go, okay, that was not it. But then Trish finishes the match. She wins with a bulldog, and it's not a British bulldog. It is a shit. It's horrible.
It's a shitty looking bulldog that then Lawler calls the Stratisfaction.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad. I'm glad you caught that because I was like, hold on a second. I think. Wait a minute here, bud. So that's
and worse than that. Okay, so here's what Meltzer said. The match went 3 minutes and 43 seconds, which it felt longer than that, to be honest with you. The fact that this match was shorter than the opening match feels weird to me. But he said, seriously way better than you'd imagine. Did some wrestling, some moves, some near falls before Stratus got a pin after a face buster. 1.5 stars. So he called it a face buster.
Okay.
It was a crappy bulldog. And Lawler called it a Stratisfaction, which then JR started calling it the Stratisfaction because of that.
Okay.
It all became a clusterfuck to me in my brain.
Yeah, okay. I'm not one to argue with Uncle Dave, but I argue with everyone because I don't care. But yeah, so I gave that I gave that a 1 out of 10. That was a 1 out of 10. My response, well, okay. That was a weird ass match. It went like 3 minutes. Definitely early Trish before her ring work was, she got a lot better. So this is clearly early Trish. But the pacing and the finish seemed really fucking weird to me this whole match.
Apparently she wasn't at 100%, but I don't know if that had to do with something actually wrong with her hand or if there was something more going on.
And so then I say, is Trish's finish just a regular bulldog? I didn't think it ever was. Maybe, but that was definitely a bulldog attack. That was not a face buster is what Scotty does or what, I don't know, some other people do. It's different. It's a different move. I'm being picky, but yeah. So I said it was a poor match, and it ended flat, so not good. And one point I made it was too short to even be an effective rest. Like a lot of Divas matches are restroom breaks. This wasn't enough time to take a piss and get back. You'll miss the beginning of the next match. So 1 out of 10. Moving on from that. Woo!
Yeah, Ric Flair enters the arena and introduces Megan and Reed, who both look like they don't want to be on camera. They just kind of rush out of the shot.
So it's sad seeing Reed after we know what happened to him. That was a sad thing. But yeah, Reed has to be he's like our age around here. He can't be maybe a year too older. He's maybe
taller
14.
than Rick.
Yeah, but he's definitely young. And Megan, I mentioned here because I did do a little bit of research because when I don't know people, I Google them. She's married to one of your favorite people, Mr. Conrad himself. So I don't know anything about her other than she didn't wrestle. She's Ric Flair's daughter. She's Charlotte's sister, right? I assume?
Half sister.
Okay, that would explain it. Right. Okay, yes, that makes sense.
But that means she's also Reed's half sister. Megan is from the oldest, the first marriage.
Ric Flair's fucked a lot of women, so it's hard to.
And he's had children with a few as well.
Yeah. So Reed's out there, Megan's out there. It's one of those things where you're like, wait, Megan looks like his fucking mom.
She's David's sister.
Like full on?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, yeah, she looks at least twice his age there, which is, Rick, he's been fucking shit for a long time, so it happens.
Hey,
But yeah, I then said, I don't know a lot about them. I mostly know David and Charlotte because they're wrestlers, so I know more. Well, Reed was a wrestler, but he never was, in a big promotion, so I never followed.
We get a video package for Flair and McMahon immediately following them, which is pretty good, except it's almost got like a weird horror movie score with really fast drum and bass. Yeah,
and so my pre-assumption, because again, a lot of times I don't remember these matches. I don't look at the card ahead. I just watch it. I said, I assume we can expect a lot of blood, and that's about it. It's a McMahon match. We're going to see a lot of muscles and a lot of blood.
Yeah, Alvarez said something about the promo video. He said it was great except for two things. Number one, all the footage of Flair in his famous matches was shown in grainy black and white film like he'd wrestled these bouts during the 1920s.
Right.
And second, they tried to portray Vince as this legendary wrestler of Flair's caliber, which is quite laughable.
I mean, and that is one problem I have with the match. We'll get into it. I will say, though, we do find out that Vince, he gets boners from hurting people. And that is going to pop up a couple times in Jerry Lawler's pants, as we find out. Because Lawler doesn't just want the purple puppies. He also wants Vince's dangling cock. Can I say cock?
Yep.
I can say cock, right?
We
It's
can say whatever we want.
Balderdash. That's not a curse. Okay. Well, Brett screwed Brett, damn it. Can we say that? Uh-oh. I just alienated. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Controversy.
You just lost the Canadian audience.
Yeah, so Vince... before we get into this, I say Vince is an ugly wrestler, but he's fucking... He was hilarious in the promo. Like, Vince has always been hilarious. I'll give him that. He's fucking funny. He's not afraid to be goofy and make fun of himself. Him dressing like Rick was funny. I like that. Yep. And he can't have a match, but he can have a fight. Vince can fight, and Vince has never been one to shy away from bumps he probably shouldn't be fucking taking. And so again, Vince, it's like Shane. Like, are they wrestlers? No, but I'll give them credit. They will beat the fuck out of themselves for a match. Nope, every time. So I expect this should be. I think this should be pretty good. And then we get into it.
Oh yeah, it's great. Honestly, so it starts off with the entrances are what they are. Flair comes out first.
Flair. Blue today. He's wearing blue, which let's go off on a tangent real quick. What is your favorite Ric Flair color ensemble? I think blue's my favorite. I really like the blue look.
Blue's good. I also really like the old green robe. I thought that was a cool one.
I was wondering that because, like, I know a lot of people like red. I'm like, red's okay, but I like the red and gold. But I like the blue. Yeah. I think blue is my favorite. So
I also like the white robe.
Yes, that one didn't come out often. That was pretty rare. And then later on, I think when he was on his like final run, he did because he used to switch robes all the time. On his final run,
there's that really cool black and blue robe that he did on his final run. That was like a V. That was a really cool looking robe.
Yeah, but yeah. So this is back when Flair. So I think right here this is his first quote unquote match in a while, right? Like since WCW, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vince is fucking jacked. Like I never remember when he's wearing suits, but like every time he outfit, you're like, Jesus Christ, he's bigger than most of the fucking wrestlers.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He is insanely jacked, and
he's not on the wellness policy.
No, so it doesn't matter. I mean, again, wellness policy's dumb. It's not a sport. Actors can take steroids. Anyway, yeah. So I will. The first thing I said is I don't know how old Flair is here. Like I don't know his age. Old, but he can definitely still move and bump. He's moving around the ring quickly. He takes a couple. So Vince, basically the story of the match is Vince is stronger than Rick, and it's weird. Like you said, and earlier, like I think you said, Meltzer said, like. They try to portray Vince as like clearly actually competition for Rick because Vince kind of dominates most of the match.
Yeah, it starts off with like a little collar and elbow tie up, and Vince just throws Rick across the ring, which he sells perfect for.
No, Rick can still like I say this right here. I bet money Ric Flair right now today could probably still outsell and outbump some of the guys. Some of the big names.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I know he's old and broken, but I feel like he could still probably do it. But yeah, so Vince overpowers him, and here we go. So Lawler basically admits right here that Vince McMahon gets him hard. And
oh, yeah. Well,
this is a recurring scene.
JR, he's like, do you think if you had a body like Vince's, you'd get turned on just by looking in the mirror?
Yeah. So we're saying, and Lawler went, I would. So he's saying I'd get turned on by Vince's body.
And then he goes like the veins in his arms are protruding and bulging. And it's like, King, come on.
Stop it. Yeah. So basically Lawler, and we come back to this a couple times where basically Lawler repeatedly mentions that him and Vince are secret gay lovers. I think that's what they're saying. And we know in wrestling, we know that makes him a heel. gays in wrestling are heels. That comes up later in the show too. Remember we just saw, are you gay? No. He face turn. Goldust is a face because he said no. Wow.
Yep.
Oh boy. But yeah, so Flair takes over a little bit occasionally, but it's mostly just it's mostly Vince dominating him.
Yeah, it gets it's basically like a normal Ric Flair spot match at first, and then it spills outside of the ring, and then Vince grabs. There's some signs that say "keep off," and Vince rips one of them off. And
I thought so. Yeah, you can tell in wrestling when stuff is gimmicked and not. That is not a gimmick sign. That is an actual sign.
Yep.
Because it looked painful, and I said at first, I was like, "Is that where he?" Yep, that's where Rick gets cut open. Mm-hmm. A couple minutes into this match went 15 minutes. So this was 3 minutes into the match. Probably Rick's already cut open, which is good because I think Rick again is in the short list of people. We're talking about short lists tonight, but short list of best bleeders in the business. Him, HBK up there.
Oh, absolutely.
Triple H probably I could throw in there, but he kind of was in his later career was in the age where there wasn't bleeding, so it wasn't as good. Eddie, just by proxy of that one chair shot
with JBL, that was brutal.
I think we can count that. Mick Foley, obviously, even though in WWE he didn't as much because he had the mask, so there's not a lot of blood, but. So Vince is dominating. Again, I do say right here, I know the perception of wrestling for a while, and I know when Cody and Dustin had their blood spot in their match, a lot of people went, well, this has put wrestling back years. No.
No.
Blood is blood is good. Okay, so first off, it's a superficial wound. Unless you're Abdullah the Butcher or fucking Carlos Colon
or Hannibal.
It'll be fine. It'll heal. It'll be okay. Ric Flair he's bled more than anyone in the history of the world, I bet. And he doesn't have a disfigured if you know how to do it. Jim
Cornette would be like, well, no. Oh God, no.
Yeah,
Cornette would tell you 20 more bleeders, but that would be before television even.
Yeah, I've never done it, but I hear there's there's a way to do it. You dig in, pull, and then you twist, and the twist kind of bleeds. You get a nice little blah. I've never done it. I'm not a wrestler. Would like to be, but I'm not one, so I don't know the proper technique. Blood in wrestling is such a great tool for a match. I say here, I like realistic fights. I'm not I'm a hardcore wrestling fan to a point. The Moxley Omega match, I loved that. It was violent and brutal, but it was Americanized Japan, almost Japanese style.
Right.
I don't like Overboard. I love Mick Foley, but the death matches, I appreciate them. I get that it's crazy, but that's not what I like. And if they bleed every match, I think Mick Foley said that in I don't know, was it ECW maybe? He was in a first blood match and he wanted it to be important. He went, the first guy came from this battle royal bleeding, and I went, what the hell? And then he walked out and he asked, and it's it's a
battle royal.
It was, and so he walked out, and they're just dudes gigging each other, bleed. Damn it, you're supposed to go out. I was like, yeah, I'm not into that. Necro Butcher, I appreciate, but those matches, I really can't watch them. They're oof.
Yep, they're a little too much, and
so blood is good, and not fake blood, because we saw Roman with the fake blood a couple years ago, and you just tell it's just off. It doesn't work.
It's gross. I guess real blood is gross too, but I mean, fake blood just looks dumb. It's a dumb thing to do.
Maybe
if your argument is that blood isn't needed, then don't do fake blood. Don't do any blood.
Right, but I feel like it makes sense. And for some people, it's their thing. Ric Flair, if he's not bleeding, is it even a Ric Flair match? No one knows.
Well, probably not.
So also at that point, they go outside the ring, and so Flair broke his back in a plane crash.
So I wrote about this too. I was going to say there's a really awkward spot where Vince throws Flair down for a body slam, and it looks like he's trying to put him on his back, even though Flair traditionally sells on his side. And you can see Flair try and get there because Flair was in a plane crash years ago, and he always sells moves on his back. But Vince is it's like Vince knows how to take care of a normal person who would normally bump for this, but he doesn't know how Flair's going to take this. So
I'm glad you caught that too, because that's exactly what it is. Is Ric Flair, since that plane crash, he's always taken. I don't know if I've ever seen a flat back Flair bump.
No, I don't think I have.
He always
either.
takes him to his side. That's it's almost a trademark. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just what he does. And
it looks good. And it's probably why he's had such a long career, is because he knew that he needed to take care of himself.
Vince clearly is trying to give a body slam, and Ric Flair forcibly like twists in the middle of it to not. And I can't blame anyone for it. Like, it's weird that you have to do that, but I've also never broken my back and then bit a wrestler and went, please don't slam me on my back that I broke in a plane crash ever. So that part was ugly. Cool spot after that though. So Vince steals Megan's camera, right? And he basically takes a selfie of Flair, bloody and disgusting. And David looks like he wants to cry most of this match, to be fair.
Reed.
I'm sorry, Reed, yep. And he tosses the camera back, and Megan almost fucking drops that very expensive-looking camera.
Yes.
Very awkward. But it was a cool moment.
I heard a story recently on one of the Conrad podcasts, and I think it was Bruce telling it, but I can't be 100% certain. And I can't remember if they were asking about Vince receiving or giving a gift, but it was, about gifts and about how Vince, does Vince even understand gifts? Because he seems like the kind of man who could afford anything. And I think it was that Vince had one of those pictures framed and given to either Rick or somebody involved.
I mean, that I was actually wondering, did they ever develop those? Because I remember in, I think it's Jericho's, one of his books, there's that behind the scenes he got where they were in an off TV show, and he took the camera of The Rock doing a funny Rock face. So I was kind of wondering if that ever happened. That'd be cool. That's an NFT right there.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying, I'd pay $12 for that.
So I think now's your time to rant about a figure four.
Well, hold on. First we get Lawler back to Vince having a boner because he's beating up a man.
Right.
When Vince beats up men, both him and Lawler get erect children. It's a funny word, I know, but it's true. It happens. It's natural. And yes, so we have a situation. So I like to pride myself on knowing a little bit about wrestling. I've done backyard stuff, as a kid. I've learned what moves do work, what moves are easy to do, what hurt, what hurts, what doesn't. The figure four done correctly hurts. It's not a pleasant maneuver. You can go on YouTube. There's a bunch of professionals, fighters who did this. There's a couple I watch, but they put each other in the figure four, and it fucking hurts. And the reason it hurts isn't why you think. A lot of people would think, oh, it's supposed to hurt the bent leg. It doesn't. What you're doing is hyperextending the bottom leg up onto the opponent's bent leg. So you're using your right leg, which you lock in. When you see Ric Flair do it, he locks it in and then stamps onto the floor. Right leg flat on the floor, and he can lift his hips up. When he lifts his hips up, because their straight leg is basically kind of in his growing crotch area, as he does that lifts it, and it presses down. That leg has nowhere to go. It hyperextends the knee on his opponent's own leg. That's what the move is supposed to do. Vince locks it in, and I don't know if this is better or worse than the Miz's version, because his version fucking also sucks. But Vince clearly doesn't know what it's supposed to do. So he locks it in correctly. The movement's correct, because a lot of people put the wrong leg under. So they put, the foreleg, they'll put that under, and that does nothing. Nothing happens there. The straight leg has to be under the bent leg to bend up. And so what happens is Vince does that, but then instead of planting his right foot to lock it in, he leaves it up and starts yanking on the foot, the straight leg. So he's doing nothing. Nothing's happened. There is nothing. That move, that is actually not. That is just two men grappling each other's foot. That's all that is.
Yep.
And I hate it. I get it.
Flair reverses it,
Which
And,
also, by the way, that's not a real thing. Like, reversing
No.
that doesn't reverse pressure. But Vince sells it like he broke his fucking leg.
But
And it's not even held
when
in.
Vince crawls his way out of the ring and he immediately breaks it, and I don't know if it's King or JR that's like, how did he break that so easily? And it's because he never had it locked in the first place.
Because you can't. So part of the flip mechanic is because he's locked in, the other guy can flip and hold it. Vince is never locked in, so when he goes over, his legs already fucking flying out, and Vince basically like just immediately like that counter hold was in for less than a second, and Vince immediately crawls away. But Vince sells that shit like his leg's broken. So a lot of stuff that annoys me. If you want to do if you're gonna steal your opponent's finisher, which we see a couple times because Jericho tries it too, but. Just fucking learn the move first. Like, Rock, go talk to Brett and be like, how do you do a sharpshooter? Because I'll talk about that later, too. I fucking hate when people steal finishers and do them shitty. It drives me insane. Like, Brock Lesnar and John Cena. John Cena can't do the F5, so he does the shitty fireman's carry from the standing position, which is what that should be called.
Right.
Fun fact, though, a lot of people don't realize that. The only reason that move exists is because he couldn't do Brock Lesnar's finish to Brock Lesnar. So he did like a modified version, and that's the FU, I stole your finisher, kind of. Yeah. But bad segment. TLDR, Vince with a poor and ineffective figure 4 maneuver.
Yep. And, there's they go outside.
Another
again.
part that really annoyed me here. Fuck.
Well, so wrestling logic for sure. For a second, why is there a lead pipe ringside? Like, it's logically, like, why is it there?
Why is it just there? Yeah. Which is fair, but like, I know a lot of shit's out under the ring, and who knows, sometimes there's stop signs. You never know when you need to tell someone to stop.
When they go over,
go ahead.
Well, there's a Spanish announce table setup that never doesn't get executed. Like, it's just a little
teaser.
They go over, but there is something cool where it looks like they queue up a replay on the Spanish announce table monitors, and they're filming it with the regular cameras.
That was cool. I liked that. That was because in reality that wouldn't happen because the announcers have to see the match live on those, so there would not be a delay. Because I'm pretty sure the way it works is like they have two of them. One of them's live, and one of them can show a replay if they call for it, so they know it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously that's a bygone era. We have fucking tablets now.
Digital out, But that was like the only spot that nothing happened when they went outside this next time because
it was
Vince
just
got and there was a perfectly legal low blow.
Did we say this is street fight? I don't know if we said that once, but it is. Yes.
But Vince ends up bleeding at some point here, and I can't remember exactly where.
Hold on, Vince. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me see here because I did follow this through. So, so Vince is in at about 2. Vince rolls in. Flair with a blatant low blow. We just talked about that. Vince. So again, I didn't mention this yet, but Vince either hates being fucking chopped, or he is the best seller in the history of the business for a chop. Because he looks like every time Flair hits him, like a lot of wrestlers try and take it like, oh, it hurt. Vince looks like he's about to fucking cry. So Flair on the outside, so he takes out Vince with the monitor, and that's when Vince bleeds.
Mm-hmm, okay.
Yeah.
And then it was on that replay spot.
Yeah, okay. And so I said
Vince was blading. That's why the cameras were filming the.
Because Vince is taking a while. But there's a good quote from me. Yep, nothing better than 2 old men, one in his underwear, bleeding on each other, wrestling.
Yeah.
Hey. So right here, Vince. There's an ugly moment. Vince really has trouble getting in fucking rings. Shades of what happens. I think. Not too far in the future, but
like 3 or 4 years in the future.
Yeah, Rick goes to roll him into the ring, and Vince basically fucking dislocates his hip. It looks like trying to roll because he just like instead of rolling in, he like bounces off his hip and just kind of fucking. It's ugly and gross. And then Flair with they went back outside at some point. They rolled back out pretty much immediately. Flair with the classic Ric Flair, I'm gonna bite your bloody face. Thank God.
And Megan snaps another picture of that.
Yeah, so, which hold on. Yeah, wait, so you're saying it's gross when your dad's bleeding, but you're okay when your bloody dad bites another bleeding old man's forehead. Okay.
Yeah.
there's probably reasons she never got into wrestling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
But,
yeah. So Flair working, everyone. I just have to say, Flair with the Crimson Mask is one of the most iconic wrestling visuals of all time. No fucking question. And another
he
low blow.
actually got after another low blow. It doesn't. He gets the figure 4 on Vince.
Can I talk about something right before that?
Oh yeah.
So again, I love wrestling. I know it's fake. It's not fake. It's staged, but there are props. We know you can't actually hit a man in the head with a sledgehammer. That's not a thing. They'll die.
Right.
So this is
or even a lead pipe or brass
this
knuckles.
This is clear. Well, the brass knuckles, if you do it right, but they're obviously going to be rubber knuckles or something. Like it'll still probably hurt, but this is, if you're going to gimmick something, at least make it somewhat believable. So fucking Rick takes this pipe, the lead pipe, winds up from behind him and bashes Vince square in the forehead with it, which would kill a fucking bear, probably, right?
Yep.
And the problem is, what we hear is clearly it's one of those. It's clear, like the nunchucks, like the practice nunchucks, almost a foam. That's what it's got to be, like hard foam. That's what it is, because it sounds like it's foam. The pipe fucking, you can see it bend. Pipes don't bend on people's skulls. There's again Mick Foley in one of his books where he had to hit Vader and a bunch of dudes with a shovel. It was a real shovel, and he was practicing. Right. Harley Race, rest in peace, said, if you don't hit me with that full on, I'll beat the shit out of you. And I put the fear of Harley in him. That's part of wrestling. You're going to take shitty things. Like, I know it's a lead pipe. There's got to be something you can use that's similar that isn't just blatantly like a foam pipe, So that part bugged me. But yeah, if he actually hit Vince like that, Vince would be dead live in the ring. And then figure 4, a good figure 4, an actual figure 4, properly applied. Yes. I can only hope that he actually locked it in a little bit just to, ouch Vince's hips. And Vince taps out. Yep. I don't know how often we ever see Vince tap out. He's kind of like Hogan. Like, not many people make like Lesnar. Not a lot of people make the big names tap out, because that feels like, oh, you can pin them, whatever. But tapping out is actually them giving up and admitting defeat. So I don't know how often that happens, but that's what we see. Ric Flair submits Vince.
Yep, it went 14 minutes and 55 seconds.
Indeed.
And we had I wrote down both or I copied down both of both Alvarez's review and Meltzer's review of this match.
Let's hear him first, and then I'll give my take on it.
Alvarez said, Ric Flair beat Vince McMahon clean in a street fight with the figure 4. Ric Flair beat Vince McMahon clean in a street fight with the figure 4. Ric Flair beat Vince McMahon clean in a street fight with the figure 4.
Right?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't stop typing that. Flair was first introduced and wrestled in his Trunks Sans t-shirt. Vince came out as jacked as ever. Vince has some incredible genetics. I mean, I work at home, which means I can go to the gym consistently, get 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night, and watch my diet perfectly. Yet I'm still not as big or as ripped as Vince, and he flies all over the country all week long, never sleeps, and runs a multi-million-dollar corporation. And he's 56. It's quite miraculous, actually.
What's crazy is he's still doing the exact same fucking thing. It's nuts.
Vince, who was walking as if he was carrying basketballs or grapefruits in his armpits, exhibited great strength by repeatedly shoving Flair down. He is such a cartoon character come to life. That's what I wrote down from Alvarez because it was hilarious.
True. Yeah, that's what Vince is. He is a cartoon. And I give Vince shit. I don't like a lot of his decisions, especially recently. But he is Vince. He's great.
Yep, absolutely. And then Meltzer said, to answer the big question, yes, Flair wrestled in his trunks. Vince looked at least arms, delts, and back like he was a few weeks from ready to compete in an age group bodybuilding contest.
Yep.
Match was way better than it had the right to be with both with two guys over 50, one of whom is really just a pumped up backyard wrestler. Of course, the heat and juice and gimmicks helped, but it wasn't like it was bad at any point either. Flair sold the first 11 minutes, including doing his face first bump and flip into the turnbuckles.
Yep.
Sorry, no flying body press roll through or bridge out of a pin into a backslide. Actually, Vince never took a flat back bump.
No.
He gave it 2 3/4 stars.
Okay. My thoughts. I gave it a 7 out of 10. So do the fucking math. Do it. And I said, yep, that's what I thought. Bloody, fighty, good stuff. I love traditional wrestling, high flying, all that stuff. But I have a soft spot for a fight feel match. You know, it's got to fight. And that's what everything Vince does. Because Vince, I respect him in that he knows he's not a wrestler. He knows, like Shane, younger, Shane can do, wrestling stuff. Vince knows he's not going to do a fucking picture perfect German suplex. It's not what he does.
Of course.
He does shitty kicks, horrible punches.
He actually has a decent elbow. I noticed that Vince actually has a halfway decent elbow in this match, but he tries to throw crappy punches instead. So I said Vince can go in these matches. And basically this is what we know from, like, it was hard not to compare because, like, I know he had the Michaels one, the Bret Hart one that I had to see live. That one's too long. But, like, the Michaels match was really good. The Hogan one, I hate Hogan, but, like, I can't diss that match. That was a good. So yeah, where do you think this ranks on the Vince match? Short list of
like, I don't know if I'm thinking of those three. I'd put it probably third. I think the Michaels one was best because Michaels. I don't know. I might put the Hogan Vince 3 out of those three, just because neither of them really bumps or can bump or knows how to bump or has ever bumped.
Right.
And then Michaels and Flair, like, I consider them like the same tier of wrestler, just different generations. And so, like, you get kind of both. Like, they can both go in a brawl, but they both can bump. And Ric Flair does bump quite a bit early on when they're still in the wrestling bit. He takes bumps, wrestling bumps. Michaels does that too. Hogan, has Hogan ever taken a bump? Does he know how to bump? Does Hogan know what a bump is? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he took the Gorilla Press Slam once.
I remember. Yeah. And then, he took that and he wasn't even upset about that for years and made WCW let him beat the Warrior when they're old men to get his win back. Never. No.
Yep. That was, it was 7 years later and neither of them got anything from it.
But yeah, so that's good for what it was. I felt it didn't go too long. I wasn't bored. It went about the right time. Like the Bret Hart match, that one went too long. This one was good. 7 out of 10. It was a very good brawly match. And I can't complain about it. I'm not going to say it was shit. It was good. I liked it. 7 out of 10 for the moment, of course. And again, my reviews are always, on this show in the moment. Like, if I want to compare this, like, would I say Shawn versus Vince is 8 out of 10? I don't know. It's probably 7 also. It's just better. It's kind of in the moment type stuff.
Fair enough. We cut backstage to Nick Patrick, who gives the worst performance of his career, stumbling over why he I don't know why he let William Regal win the match with brass knuckles. Like it. Yeah, they're trying to set him up as a heel for the match that he actually was mostly a face in, which is odd.
But then Stephanie, and I'm gonna say this as well because I'm kind of it's a podcast. I rant. I liked Stephanie a lot more back before she became like the super goddess fitness lady. I know that, I get everyone wants to be fit, but I thought she was cuter and better before she was like jacked and crazy businesswoman jacked, So
before she became female Vince completely.
Yeah. Like at this point, she has, it's the same facial expressions. The voice is a bit deeper now because, she's older, so it makes sense. But I don't know. I just remember, like, I just remember Stephanie at this point was like, I like her. I have a crush on her. Now I'm like, she could kill me in one maneuver. I'm out. Sorry.
Well, this is a classic vignette when Stone Cold pops up behind her because she's putting over Triple H huge, which is funny because Stephanie's a heel here, but Triple H is a face, and so they're still kind of rolling with that.
I was going to ask you because you know the background a bit more. So at this point, Kurt Angle is a heel, right?
Yes.
And Triple H is back as a face from the return. And I was wondering, so like, because I I thought like the whole point of like up till like I think next month maybe they kind of have their split, but aren't Steph and Triple H kind of like Triple H is a face, Steph's a heel, she's putting him over, but he's kind of like, I don't know about you, kind of thing.
Well, they keep Triple H face by having Stephanie lie to him about being pregnant.
Oh, of course. Classic wrestling story. Okay.
So yeah, then he's going to renew their vows, and then when they're there to renew their wedding vows.
So here's my problem with that. They're renewing the vows. The vows were originally made when she was passed out drugged in your Mustang.
Yes.
So you're renewing fucking wrestling. Of course. Hey. I don't know why I remember Brian the Mustang.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was watching this. I was very confused because like I was 12 at the time of this, and so I'm kind of iffy. I just liked who I liked. Like I forgot that Taker was a heel, even though he gets huge pops, but like he's a heel. So, and then Angle's Taker... a heel, and Triple H is heel. Triple H is like a career heel. Does he get cheered ever? Yes, like just a nostalgia cheer, but like you put him against anyone that's even like slightly a babyface, and they're gonna fucking pick not Triple H.
Right. But Taker actually had a really effective heel turnaround this time because he basically forced JR into joining the Kiss My Ass Club.
Right. And then this was also, I find out later, this is kind of around the time, I think that hardcore match with him and Jeff, no, maybe later. He's feuding with the Hardys, we find out.
Yeah, I think that actually starts here, sort of. Because that match...
Sorry, go ahead.
I believe isn't until the following year, maybe. Okay. The ladder match with Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff and Taker, which is good. But yeah, so yeah, like here, we'll see later, Taker he's a heel. He is a heel. He gets a big pop, and I talk about it when we get there, but yeah. It's a weird time. Like it's kind of like right before, like, you know, a lot of my memories kicked in of like we were watching these live.
Right.
So like we were watching, at this point, I don't think we were watching the pay-per-views. We were just watching, you know, the daily TV we could watch at this point. So we're only, you know, we're not seeing these. We're seeing the replays. I think maybe a year or two later is when we started going, oh, we have Walt's secret box. Let's watch these things. So
I think it was actually later or it was the next year. I remember ordering No Way Out with my friend online on his 56K like dial up, and there was a way to stream No Way Out the following month.
Wow.
Which it was only $10, so we were allowed to do it because it wasn't the price of a normal pay-per-view. So it was awful quality.
Every month I used to beg my mom, like I specifically remember I really wanted to watch one of the WCW Slamborees, and it was there. I was like, Mom, can we order Kevin Nash? And she's like, no, we're not. No, absolutely not. I was like, Mom, Kevin Nash. And she's like, go away. I was like, thanks, Mom. Thank you so much for making me, you know, love wrestling. I mean, to be fair, my family did watch, like, because of me, we would watch SmackDown every week live for probably 3-4 years. Like,
yeah.
Looking back, like, my stepfather and my mom, they're like, I don't like wrestling. I'm like, wait. So I was the only one that cared about any of this shit, and you guys were... That's good, because I wouldn't watch shit I don't want to watch with people. No. Hard pass. So yeah. But yeah, so it was cool. But Stone Cold, this I laughed way too fucking. So I was sober when I watched this, and I still laughed, which is that's rare. I hate Stone Cold's but because, you know, everyone else does it. When he does it, it's fucking perfect.
Oh yeah, and this is the one
Stephanie
that makes Stephanie. Yeah,
he scares her. Yeah, so she's
and then
talking,
Michael Cole has to stop himself from laughing when he picks up the interview.
And I love, like, that's one of my favorite parts about Stone Cold. Like, if that was Gorilla, he would have went, God damn it, Cole, why did you fucking laugh? And you're like, oh shit, that was live. Fuck. Stone Cold went to walk and went, you laughing, boy? What? But yeah, no. So literally, Stephanie was there. Stone Cold stalks up behind her like a creepy Stone Cold. He's a face, by the way, again. So the heel thing is over. He's clearly a face again. You know, turning your back on the entire WWF to be the leader of the alliance can only last so long before you're just beloved again. It's Stone Cold, obviously.
Well, of course.
I mean, I will say I loved his heel turn. That was some of his best work. Stone Cold is amazing. Top 5 wrestler of all time. But yeah, so he literally whats at Stephanie. And Stephanie screams, and runs away. Like he's fucking like, no, he's just saying a word. That's not scary. Stop it. What do you know? Although we do know some other stuff about Deborah, so maybe she was right in being scared of Stone Cold.
Well, I've
Oh,
heard a few different, more than one account, but whatever.
it doesn't matter. Stone
Not
Cold.
my place.
I'm not going to say it. Yeah, Stone Cold he's acknowledged it. He's moved on, which is what you want from guys that fuck up. You want them to not go, hey, nothing happened to work. No, Stone Cold went, yeah, that happened. I moved on. So good on him. That's how you need to deal with your problems and move on with your fucking life. So good on Stone Cold. But yeah, he chased away Stephanie by scaring her. Michael Cole tried to laugh because it was fucking funny. I laughed. And then Stone Cold, I feel like that wasn't planned. And Stone Cold came back and went up and just kept going a little bit. And I loved it. It was good. That was a 10 out of 10 promo. I fucking loved it. Stone Cold is it's hard to appreciate him from then. Like I loved him, but like just watching back, I'm like, gee, okay, wow, okay. He's like, in the '97 Rumble, which we just did. Go check that out. Just his charisma in the ring when he was the only one in there, which we may see again. Who knows? He's just alone in the ring, and he's just he's Stone Cold's so good. He's so good. Eric Bischoff. How can you sleep at night knowing what you did and got rid of him, man?
Well, he ended up doing pretty well for himself, that whole NWO thing anyway.
You could say that, whatever. But yeah, so we got a video package now.
Yeah, and so I was like, this whole thing looks awkward. There's no way this music was the original music. Like they were definitely licensing songs by this time in 2002.
So I feel like we're gonna get close.
King gives it away. King gives it away in the next match. Yeah, it's "Cocky" by Kid Rock is the song for the entire paper.
Okay, because I was gonna say I feel like later, like one of my unforceable entry is a lot of people hate them, but Creed, "Young Grow Old," and I remember that as one of my favorite video packages because it was Shawn Michaels and Triple H, "Young Grow Old." They were friends. They're and blah blah blah. It was a great package. I'm wondering if we'll see that. And by the way, I can't tell you how excited I am that we're going to see that SummerSlam match this year. I am fucking hyped for that. That might be my favorite match. One of my, possibly my most favorite remembered match. We'll see how it looks looking back on it. But I'll stop spoiling. It's so good. And I'm spoiling it because we do see the man himself a bit later.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's spoiling when it's literally the 20th anniversary. I think people have had a chance to
you don't know. Yeah, I mean that's fair, but it's the internet. We have to say it because we'll be canceled otherwise. True. But yes, So here we go. We get a video package with Austin. Y2J beat Rock and Austin, and I want to say, I'm just going to go into business for myself here, brother. I will be talking about both Jericho and Stone Cold in a top 5 favorite wrestlers video coming out on our YouTube channel, hopefully in the near future. Spoiler alert, maybe there are 2 of them. Who knows?
Oh, all right.
Fun fact, they fucking are. Because, yeah. And did I leave out The Rock? I did.
You did.
I did leave him out, but it's okay. But yeah. But then Jericho, right. So Rock and Jericho. It's Rock versus Jericho. This is Rock with, I think, his quintessential theme. This is the elaborate guitar solo. Smell what the Rock is cooking, then just a solo for the whole song.
I think this is the Volume 4 version, but this is the best one.
It is, and because I remember as kids, so everyone out there watching wrestling knows you used to have figures. You used to, set up elaborate entrances. One of our favorite things to do as kids, because we hung out as kids, was most of our matches were the entrance. We went really into the entrances. We turn off lights, flicker them, and it was really annoying because what was it, Volume 5 that had the Rock song, but it was a stupid Pie song.
Yeah, Pie was on Volume 5.
And so we got that, and we went, well, how do we have the Rock fucking? We don't have it. Luckily, Shawn was an internet man, and he was able to find some things from a site that one Ulrich really did not like at the time.
Oh yeah.
But
Napster was a fun time for all of us.
Yeah, Napster, ShareBear, remember those days?
Yeah.
And you hope that the thing you're downloading is actually the song. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I think Rock's quintessential theme, it was like we've seen it, it's kind of basic. This one is the full-on Smell the Rock is Cooking, elongated guitar solo, very good. And then Jericho, obviously with, his song, one of the most quintessential fantastic songs of all time in the rest. Top 5, I'd say.
Yeah, he's a heel here, but the crowd still pops for him because they love the entrance.
Yeah, and again, I also want to say The Rock also looks good here. He doesn't so there's a period where The Rock wrestled with shirts because he had a boob problem, and that's not a joke. He had it's an actual genetic thing he had.
Yeah, it's gynecomastia, and then he had it removed or something like that.
Yeah, so this is
I think scars from his breast reduction surgery that he tried to hide until they healed.
Yeah, but so Rock, he looks good. So we remember when he came back with Cena, he's too big. Like now he's too big. He doesn't look real, and he can't move anymore. At this point, I feel like this is again, quintessential Rock theme, quintessential Rock. It's before he shaved his head and went Hollywood Rock, which I think is my favorite Rock, personally.
It's fun stuff. I like the big belt buckle and the Rock shows.
Yeah, but I feel like this is when you think of the Rock in WWEF, this is what you think of. He's still got the hair, the fade. He's not tiny. He's not wearing blue fucking trunks like we just saw him in.
It's before the crowd started to turn on him for going Hollywood. So.
Yeah, this is when he was, I'd say, as big as Stone Cold. They're very close. But yeah, and then Jericho gets a good pop. There's a lot of people in this crowd that are Jericho pro. There's a man later that I really get irritated with who's a Jericho fan. But Jericho's theme, great. Top 5 all time, I'd say. Although Judas is fucking creeping quick.
It's pretty good.
The
crowd interact with it.
That crowd only version though, So,
when Jericho comes out is when I noticed that this is the era, before Twitter, when wrestlers had their own websites, and fy2j.com is actually on his little banner. I was like, wow.
I saw that and I went, oh, no. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the match starts off super quick, but then I quickly get reminded that I've never been a big fan of the Rock Samoan drop. He just kind of throws a guy.
The vignette we got before this, I mentioned that Rock is, obviously he's the Rock on the mic. He is what he is. Catchphrases left, right, and fucking center. But when he gets serious, like he did with Jericho for a second, when Jericho kind of also went serious, Rock is very good. So Rock, I think the peak of Rock's promos are Rock and Punk. For both of them, like Punk's promo, you can't, box with God. Him and Rock had some great promos because Rock wasn't, it's not John Cena where even John Cena when he gets serious. Like I like silly things, but get serious at the end,
No,
and so
totally.
I felt like that's what, and that's the thing. So Jericho started the match. They were doing the stare down. Jericho was standing there. Rock was doing his traditional, Rock foot back. I'm going to punch you pose. Jericho puts his hand in Rock's face and does the just bring it, which is fantastic. Jericho is without a doubt one of the best in-ring, charismatic dudes, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's so good. And so that kicks it off. They start quick. And the Rock's Samoan drop is not, it's less a Samoan drop and more like a, I don't know, single underhook flip, basically.
Yeah. It just never looks like he's actually in control of the move. He just lets go of the guy completely. I think the best Samoan drop was Umaga's. Umaga's looked like it was going to kill somebody.
I've never heard him. You mean Umanga?
Oh.
Umanga. But yes, The Rock, I agree. I'm glad, Shawn and I agree on some things, don't on others. Rock Samoan drop, it's better. I'd say it's better than, Nia Jax's.
Yeah, Rikishi's is above the Rock's, but it's still not nearly as good as Umaga's to me. No. Rikishi does one in the Rumble later tonight. Yeah, and I was like, it's better than the Rock's, kinda.
But yeah, so I say, so we're getting into this pretty quick match. They start out pretty quick, and I'm actually kind of surprised that Jericho actually kind of dominates the early bit of this match because I remember at this point Jericho, and traditionally we think back to this reign as, oh, Jericho, oh, he's a cowardly heel. And no, he's not cowardly at all.
No.
Yes, he's going to cheat
the
to win.
story of this entire match is just Jericho doing this over and over and over again. Like, we get it, you're the champion, and he just
he does do that, which is funny. Like, usually that's for the person that wants the belt. They go, oh, I'm going to win the belt and wear it. No, you already have it. Right. Stop, Chris. Stop.
And also, he has 2 belts and he wears them up here, and he's not doing this.
So there's not even Well, because that I don't know if we can show that on the video, Sean. That was that's not
doing this.
I don't think I don't know if we want anyone doing that first maneuver, Sean. That's not good. That's not a good look. Yeah. Oh boy.
Well,
And there's the demonetization.
Oh,
We don't, Sean.
It's not going to come out on video.
We don't need Billy and Chuck, okay?
Hey, we'll get to that later.
Hey, we will. But yeah, so I will say, I have always thought the shoulder checks when they go for a spear in the corner into the those always look brutal.
Yeah.
But Jericho's sounded particularly brutal. Like,
oh yeah,
that seems like a very unpleasant spot. So that was good. But yeah, it's a quick pace match. It looks good. I like Jericho's kick he does. Like, I like when wrestlers have a little bit of a spin on a traditional thing. So Jericho never when they're on their hands and knees, he does almost like a running rib kick kind of. And if you've ever played a wrestling game, because Jericho had his own kick. Like most wrestlers had the midsection kick, Jericho had his own. And I just love little unique things like that. And then, so The Rock had his own punch. I'm not a big fan of The Rock's punch because it's more of a punchy slap. But just if you have your own unique thing, at least you stand out a little bit. Just don't do the same boring stomp everyone does. Do it a little differently. And that Jericho was always one of those guys who did everything a little bit differently and just was unique.
Yep.
And then Jericho's also one of the most vocal in-ring wrestlers ever. He talks this whole match, and I love it.
Yes,
it's so good.
I mean, it's and I'm sure that we're only hearing what he wants us to hear, but it's always good stuff.
Yeah, this isn't where you hear him going backdrop. No, this is he's telling you literally hear him Rock your shit. You can't fight.
And Earl at one point in this match turns as red as Jericho's tights when he's screaming at him. Oh my god, he's beat red, and I was like, Earl, calm down, take your blood pressure.
Well, so you missed the most important maneuver in professional, the cocky pin. Whoa.
Oh yeah, the one-legged cocky pin.
It didn't work,
and then it did one more of these.
Yeah, he did another title belt.
He wants the belt so bad he's not even going to take a pin.
Because a big thing that happened here is after he did that and missed the pin didn't work. So Jericho takes the top turnbuckle off of the hard camera top right turnbuckle.
Right.
And to be fair, I forgot that happened because this match goes on for a little while. So I didn't even usually that happens. It's immediately a thing. The ref didn't notice it. The wrestlers didn't. And I kind of wonder, as a wrestler, that must be tough going through a match and remembering, oh shit, don't use that entire corner of the ring, right? That can't be easy.
Well, once you get over there, you're probably oh shit, well, I can't throw your head into it, so I guess
I'll just move you away, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so right here's where I say I know the perception is Jericho's a weak champion, but at this point he's looking good. Things are about to take a drastic turn, though.
Yeah.
Big missile drop kick, a big missile drop kick. I want to specify their differences. And like I said, so at this point, Jericho's already been wrestling, career-wise for a little while. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy to think that he's literally wrestling. I think tonight he's wrestling a match.
Yeah, pretty sure.
That. So we're 20 years past this. He just turned, he's 50? He's been wrestling since he was, I think, 18 or 20. So he's had an insanely long... I know he took time off, which is fair. That's another thing I want to give him credit for. Some wrestlers just won't leave. Jericho knew, hey, hold on, this isn't working. Let me fucking bail, go make some Fozzy music, come back. Oh, no, this is shit. I'm out. And then he went, hold on. Vince is treating me like shit. Let's go to New Japan. If you've never seen Jericho's New Japan promo for his, when he was in New Japan before AEW, go watch them. They're fantastic.
Yep.
Just saying. Yeah, Jericho, he's one of my top 5 for sure. And it's solely because he evolves so much. He never, like as soon as he realizes something's stale, he's out. He's done with it.
Yep. He's now at this point, I think probably the most reinventable or reinvented guy.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
absolutely. And the thing is, he has so many now, like he can just go back to like, hold on, I'm the Painmaker tonight. You can just swap back to the Painmaker gimmick he used in New Japan with, it was an Okada, right?
Which is, I think, the only reason, and I think that's the only reason that MJF was able to get away with using the countdown entrance to get a little heat earlier later last year.
Oh, dude, it was so good. But yeah, so but then the counter. Meanwhile, Rock is only the highest paid actor in Hollywood, so I guess he did okay. He did all right, I guess. He's only got 100 plus, well, not 100, hundreds of millions more than Jericho, but hey, it's that's okay too. But he's not a wrestler anymore, so we're gonna give Jericho props here. Although Jericho I don't know how music works. Jericho probably makes some good money off Fozzy. They've gotten pretty popular, so.
After the missile drop kick and The Rock comes back with like a superplex, and then Jericho takes over again with 2 lion salts in a row, which is actually a pretty cool spot.
Back to I like that. That was cool. Rock kicks out though, so. Yeah,
Rock kicks out, and then Jericho misses a missile drop kick, and then he gets thrown in the Rock scrappy sharpshooter.
Okay, so can I go into my little bit? It's not we can't call it the sharpshooter, Sean. That's called the dull shooter. That's the dull shooter.
Oh, okay.
It is not sharp. It is dull and shitty.
Okay.
But
fair enough.
Yeah, so
fear the dull shooter.
Yeah, fear it. Hold on. Yeah. Poof. Hold on, did we skip a whole chunk here? I feel like, no, I lost my place here. Blah. No. Okay. Weird. Yeah, so The Rock did his weird German throw. Like, it's not a German suplex. It's almost, it's like a half German, lion salts, blah, blah, blah. And then Hebner came in there with the classic Hebner offense and just shoves the fuck out of Jericho, which kind of interferes with the match.
Yep.
So Jericho goes for a traditional dropkick. I hate when people don't differ, because technically what Jericho did was he jumped out knowing The Rock is going to grab him and put him in the dull shooter. And he went, well, the only move that would make sense is a traditional dropkick, which is a feet first, flat back bump dropkick. Not, the traditional. I'm being picky, but yes. That's what happened. And then, it's Lance Storm. He's very serious. And
Christian, but not Test. For some reason, not Test.
Yeah,
we got.
Yeah, so Jericho actually taps out to the dull shooter, but Hebner he's literally a zombie and he's just distracted and doesn't hear Jericho blatantly tapping out. Mm-hmm. And then so The Rock breaks off the hole to take out Storm. I thought when he came out, I thought someone came with him. I couldn't tell. It was so fast. But yes, Christian.
Mm-hmm. They weren't the Un-Americans yet. I don't think they called themselves that, but it's very close. Soon.
Yes, and so he's in the ring with, I don't know if it's his title, which I found out he does have a title, or if it's the world title. I don't know. There's many titles out there.
Oh, Christian has the European title.
Yes. So he has a European title. I don't know if it was his title or one of Jericho's titles. But basically, he goes to hit The Rock with it after Hebner's distracted, blah, blah, blah. Rock dodges it, counters it. Jericho hits a rock bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going to steal a finisher, steal an easy one, That's what I'm saying. Just the rock bottom. The bookend is actually just the rock. That's where that move came from.
He actually set up a people's elbow when Nick Patrick comes out. Well, no.
He did that. He was setting up the Y2J elbow. You're not listening to the King very well, Sean.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That was a totally different maneuver. It's not shit like The Rock. It's better.
But Nick Patrick comes out trying to pretend a babyface because he's the one who kicks out Christian and Lance Storm. And I don't get what story they're trying to tell with Nick Patrick.
It gets so convoluted here. And here's where I said, like, Jericho looking strong falls up. Here's where Jericho looking strong falls apart. Because he's been keeping his own. He's not backing off The Rock. He's fighting. We now have 2 dudes that interfere. It doesn't work. A fucking ref bump that doesn't work. At this point, they go Jericho with a nice senton drop. I like that move. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then he goes for the Y2J elbow. Rock nips up, so Rock good on him. He always hits that. Flings Jericho out. They go into the table spot. So
second appearance tonight at the Spanish announce table,
so
but this time
I want to say they're taking apart the normal, the English announce table first, and Howard Finkel has the most horrified look on his face. He's like,
oh
no! And I don't know if he still has teeth, because I know later on in his life he didn't have teeth. I feel like, I don't know. It was a big, his face just like, wow, that is emotion. Who doesn't love Fink? Rest in peace. So good. But yeah, so Jericho takes apart one of the tables. Rock kind of counters him, and then The Rock takes apart I think The Rock took apart the Spanish announce table. So like, you already took one off, and I immediately said, I know what's happening. As a wrestling fan, they're doing that spot where they go from one table to another, because otherwise they're not going to undress both tables. And that's what we get. So Jericho looks like he's going to do the rock bottom onto the Spanish announce table. Rock counters into a rock bottom off of the Spanish announce table through the English announce table. And I don't know about you, like, as playing with wrestling figures, the announcer table spot was always the biggest spot of the night. But in wrestling, that is one of the more safe high spots you can do.
Yeah.
Because those are designed.
The table breaks your fall.
Yeah, they're designed. Like, even with like tables that do break, like, obviously, we're not talking about Botchamania, table spots where they, table no sells. But if the table breaks, that absorbs a lot of your. That's why, like, the big spots, like I think Bubba and Matt, remember in the future, or was it before? They take that one off the super ladder out through like 6 tables. They're there because that breaks their fall. So like it looks really good. It looks really dramatic. It looks really good, but it's not a huge ordeal unless the wrestlers don't. Shane's notorious for not taking out those stupid monitors first.
Yep.
And if you do an elbow drop off the top rope onto that, that's a fucking metal square going into your spot. So that's not good.
Oh. And one of my favorite things about this particular spot is you can see JR get up and like grab the audio interface that him and King's
so he doesn't
headset
get cut off.
into.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he's like holding it, and I was like, wow, I know what he's doing now. I wouldn't have known that when I was 11. So
no, that's cool. But yeah, so that happened, and then this is the point where there's I love passion in wrestling fans, but at some point it's fucking annoying. There's a dude sitting at ringside just screaming Jericho over and fucking over for like 2 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
He's so obnoxious because the announcers have gotten back, so they're at the back because their tables broke. So he's in their fucking ear, just go Jericho, go Jericho. Just like, I like when Jericho go Jericho, But like when you're just and I can't be that guy, because when I was younger, I was at the Jeff Hardy CM Punk match where Jeff Hardy got retired, and I made a lady actually threaten me at the show because I was so anti Jeff Hardy and so pro CM Punk. It happened again with Kane versus Rey Mysterio. So I get it, but like, if you're in vocal range, just on the when you're putting it out, cut them out, make it quieter. You can do, like, if they can pump in cheers for wrestlers that we don't care about, which they do, you can cut out annoying things.
Yep. Well, they've changed half the music on this entire event, so they probably could have done something about that. I love that King goes like, "Are you okay, JR?" It doesn't matter if you're okay. I mean, like, it's kind of awkward in hindsight coming from the guy who's had a fucking heart attack on the air.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, that was scary as fuck. And Michael Cole, as much shit as I give him, huge props to dealing with that. I don't know how the fuck you do with that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then the next thing he says, he's like, "Hey, Finkel, put this table back together." And I was like, oh my God, I fucking love the King.
I know. Yeah. So rolls him in. Rock kicks out of a 2 count after that. I don't know why. So Jericho kicked out. I'm sorry. Jericho kicked out of the 2 count. Rock got up, rolled him in. So Jericho counters the Rock bottom, with the side elbow, classic counter into a Walls of Jericho. Yep. But the Rock does get to the ropes, and he doesn't just poke them. He grabs them. So rope break, we're going to call it. Yeah, so Jericho then pulls him in, and Rock goes for an inside cradle, gets the 2, and at this point the pace is a lot slower. We're 15, 16. We're pretty much to the end of the match. It's a long match, so I get why they've slowed down. Makes sense.
Yep.
Rock hits a huge fucking flying forearm attempt that you can tell was telegraphed because Jericho has to get out of the way, and it's made to knock out Hebner.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great. I give Rock credit to, overselling his own move almost. But yeah, so Hebner gets taken out. Jericho dodges, he hits Hebner, and then Jericho grabs the title, hits The Rock in the face. I want to be fair, because later on this is going to happen. So The Rock is down for probably a 10 count in the pin. Nick Patrick runs down. There's a 2, and then he kicks out. And I say right here, Nick Patrick, was he a heel at this point? I don't fucking know. It's been a very confusing series of events. Who knows?
They can't.
I feel like
I think Nick Patrick is the reason shit gets confused on these finishes, right? They tell him to do something and then he's bad at doing it.
Well, he's the one that fucked up the entire Brett WCW thing. Like,
that's what I was saying. The Starrcade 97, apparently, like, he was supposed to fast count and he just regular counted.
Well, that's the thing, though. So is it him that fucked up, or there's a lot of rumors Hogan, good friends with Nick,
told him not to. But I mean, from evidence by this show, I just think Nick Patrick is not good at his fucking job.
Yeah. So The Rock, at that point, he takes out Nick Patrick with a rock bottom. Don't know why. A spine buster. Or no, Jericho, I'm sorry. Takes out Jericho with this rock bottom spine buster. And then, is it the worst move of all time? It's up there. The people's elbow. And he goes for the pin. But Hebner's still down. So no count.
Yep.
And so Jericho then blatantly low blows. He throws him headfirst into the exposed turnbuckle, which, again, I forgot about at this point. I went, oh, yeah, that was a thing. And then he uses the ropes for a double super cheap pin. And he gets the 3.
Yep. And that...
So, I will
Meltzer
say...
Meltzer actually really did like this match, surprisingly.
Okay.
He said somebody needs to make note of the fact that nobody, and The Rock means nobody, in this business is as over as The Rock as a babyface in history has ever done as many jobs as The Rock. Their usual excellent match. Not quite as good as St. Louis, probably because it looked a little too gimmick-laden, which took away from the intensity by the end, but better than San Diego or Nassau, which I thought was interesting because Alvarez said... the WWF had the temerity to proclaim Jericho as the first undisputed champion in the history of wrestling during the pre-match video package. How dare they disrespect the memory of Frank A. Gotch?
Okay, there we go. Okay, so
Rock
Meltzer
was actually that was Alvarez who said the Frank Gotch part, but he said Rock was actually introduced first. They had their usual very good match. There was one stretch in the middle that got boring when Jericho applied the longest chin lock ever since, Frank A. Gotch.
Not true. But it wasn't that bad. It was pretty. I can confirm from the last 2 fucking shows we've watched that was that was a reasonable headlock.
Precisely. But I think it's interesting that they both mentioned that this was their usual great match or their usual excellent match. And I kind of dislike that Meltzer just says San Diego, St. Louis, and Nassau because those might be specific events that I could remember better, but I don't remember them having that many matches.
Well, so at this
I'm sure
point,
Vengeance is one of those, but I mean, where was Vengeance at?
Well, I'm not sure, but at this point, I know that we hear, during the match, they basically say, "Oh, no one's ever beaten The Rock 4 times." So Jericho's beaten him 3 times.
Yep.
Do they have more matches? Probably. I'm sure they did. Obviously, if we're excluding house shows, because they probably wrestled each other every day for fucking 8 months, to be fair, on the house show circuit, obviously. But yeah,
for sure. So I guess Vengeance just a month earlier was San Diego. So he says that this was better than that match.
Okay. Well, again, so we'll take
it 4 1/4.
So we'll take that's out of 5.
Yeah, 4 1/4 out of 5. He really did like this match.
So taking that into account, and again, my opinion, we're doing this a little differently. Like Meltzer, he's watching every show every week as it happens, so he can, I don't remember those matches. I can't compare them. This is kind of a standalone thing. I gave it a 7 out of 10. So
all right.
Probably comparable, not as good. I said I know it's the same rating as the last match, but because I gave the last one 7 out of 10, I feel like this is just as good as Vince Ric Flair, but it's in a different way. Like, this was more wrestling. That was more of a fight, and the in-ring action is very good. I like that Jericho did get to dominate a little bit. I appreciate that they needed to keep The Rock strong. I felt like maybe they went a bit overboard with, 2 interferences, a title shot, another title shot, a turnbuckle spot, a fucking gimmick ref spot, and the cheap pin and a low blow. I get it, but I don't dislike Jericho winning that way because that was his thing. Like he wasn't cowardly. I said he's the dastardly heel, not the cowardly heel. There's a difference.
So when I just went back to check, and St. Louis would have been No Mercy 2001, the prior year. Jericho pinned The Rock to win the title at 23 minutes and 47 seconds. So they had quite a long time at that match. So that makes sense why
that makes sense. Because both of these guys can go for a half hour, no question. Like Jericho can go for an hour at this point. Rock can definitely go for a half hour. So I get it. Yeah, but I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, and it's not a bad match.
No, I thought it was pretty good. This is a good show so far, excluding the match, the lady match.
Well, it was short, so you can't,
I do elaborate on that in the overall review.
Yeah, my only issue was I thought the feet on the ropes was excessive. It kind of made Earl look stupid. I thought the turnbuckle was enough to sell the heel point.
Yeah, so I addressed that as well. I kind of thought that, and I mentioned I hate stupid ref things. I can almost suspend disbelief enough because Earl's fucking out of it. He was just knocked out. He wakes up and there's a pin going 1, 2, 3, call it. So
right,
because if I'm looking at it, he could see it. Like he has vision. He can see this. To his right, he can see Jericho's legs on the fucking rope. But
exactly,
I'm suspending disbelief and thinking maybe he was woozy and out of it, and so he just counted it because it was a slow count. To be fair, it wasn't a fast count. It wasn't a 1, 2. It was a 1, 2, 3, and so I'll give him the benefit of it out there, which I don't usually do.
Yeah, it was I didn't think we needed Lance Storm and Christian in the middle, and I didn't think we needed the feet on the ropes. But other than that, I think it was a pretty good match. It's just definitely got it's the Royal Rumble, so it's going to have Patterson stuff all over it. And I felt
absolutely.
The extra shit is always Pat Patterson.
Yeah, it was a little bit much, but I'm glad they got they probably had 10, 12 minutes before the funky shit. So Jericho got to look strong for a while. He got to do his thing where he's Rock's a bitch. You saw a guy, blah blah blah. So,
and I don't know if this thing was new, just because they were just now, becoming a public company and all that crap. But now we get the don't try this at home thing. Just happens right here before the main event, which is a really weird time. Usually, you see these at the very beginning, so it's really weird to see it here.
Yeah, I agree.
But right after that, we get to go back to WWF New York, and it's HBK in a Texas flag button-up shirt and a Stetson cowboy hat.
Absolutely.
This is prior. Obviously, this is right before the NWO comes in, so this is totally prior to his return here later this year. So this is. But he's got dip in his mouth. He's like, so you can totally tell he's chewing tobacco during this interview.
And it's funny because at this point, Michaels I think this is the first appearance he made in quite a while. And I think it's because they know I think at this point they've already talked to him and hey, we're going to bring you in for this because this is after his, so for everyone that doesn't know, Michaels had drug problems and alcohol. Surprise. Who knew? But this is after he found God, whatever you need to do to get better. He came out of it. So at this point, he's presumably clean, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
And again, later this year, we have the NWO thing, which is kind of And then we have one of my favorite feuds of this entire decade, which we'll get into. But yeah, it's Michaels. It's cool to see him. We're 3 pay-per-views straight of Michaels. We got a lot of Michaels. We're going to see a lot of Michaels. Although, I guess we'll have a little bit of a break from 2002 for a bit, but Michaels. Michaels will be prominent. But yeah, so I will say they asked him basically, who are you picking to win the Rumble, and he fucking cheats. I got to pick my Texas boy, Undertaker and Stone Cold. What about Bradshaw? He's from Texas. They mentioned that later. Yeah. But you can't pick. You got to pick one. We always had to pick one. Remember, I picked Lesnar. You picked Taker, and I won. Not saying you lost, but I won. Lesnar won and you lost, but you have to pick.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Well, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Basically now we go into the promo video for the Rumble match itself and for Triple H. It's a kind of a combo video, which I think they could have done this a lot better because Triple H's return that I think it was the same month was huge. At Madison Square Garden.
I actually questioned that because I know he came back from the quad tear that he had with was it the Benoit 2-man power trip thing, or is that the other one? I can't remember.
It was he had the I don't remember what the actual return match was, but I know that they had the 4-way. Was it a fatal 4-way match where he tore the quad, and he had the long.
Or no, I think that was later because I think this was the first one. So he tore his quad here doing the pedigree outside the ring. The second one was in the ring. So I don't know. I don't remember who was against, but he injured himself during the 2-man power trip. Spoiler alert! I'm going to mention that a bit here, and that kind of ended that. And then they went into the invasion. And that got dropped because he was hurt. So he's coming back from that. Yeah. This is his first match back. I think he's gotten competitive, but he hasn't had an actual match yet. This is his return.
And this is right after he had a huge, he just got that huge pop because they followed his whole surgery.
Yeah, which was gross. Quad. I don't want to see his fucking quad. That was gross. But yes, they followed him, and it's Triple H, so of course. But so they followed him, and this is his first match back from that injury. He's returning. I think didn't this happen later too when he came back? He comes back and he's a face, except the next time they did it right, and he immediately turned heel.
Yeah, the next time he came back and pretended to reform DX. This was before they actually did reform DX.
My heart, Shawn, my heart.
Yeah, but he pretended to reform DX and then attacked Shawn. I think that was only a year after this.
Yeah, it was.
I think that was 03.
Yeah, but so
it might even be later this same year. We'll
feel
like it.
I don't. Yeah, we'll have to see. We might be misremembering. We're old. That was a while ago, but it's good shit. But yeah, so we got the Rumble.
As Howard is introducing the Royal Rumble match, there's a sign that just says "Some Jew guy."
I'm glad I was the only one that saw that and went, Eric? Was Eric there live?
I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was good. But so I'll say, I try to keep up with this. I think I get all the entrances and tosses. But if I missed one, I'm sorry. Go to Wikipedia, or when we release the notes I made at the bottom of it, I blatantly copy pasta the entire entrant and elimination list. So there's a lot. It all happens.
Yep, I've got the list from both Meltzer and Alvarez. The way that Meltzer does it is he just talks about the entrance in order, and then as he describes the match, he mentions who gets eliminated. The way that Alvarez does it is he mentions the entrance in order, and then in parentheses following their name, he says who they are eliminated by, but not when.
Okay,
so they're both kind of shitty ways to read it. So yeah, definitely check out the table.
Yeah, I'll lead it through. I've tried to make comments where necessary. Obviously, not everything is worthy of comment, but I will say there's quite a bit. It was pretty good. So so we start out reading the rules. This year they say it's every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes.
They change it from year to year, and you can actually see a guy in the crowd look at his friend and go 2 minutes. So you can tell that people were debating the rules, and this is probably before everybody. Yeah, this is definitely before you could just get on your phone and ask the internet.
Yeah, we're not. Don't mistake us. This is not 3 count or 3 minutes, and then you're out of here. This is 2 minutes.
Yep, 2 minutes.
And I do actually I do time the first one, and I can confirm it's not. It might not be exact. It's basically 2 minutes. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I didn't count
towards
them all
the end.
through,
I think they started rushing them out. I think towards the end.
Yeah, I didn't count everyone, but the first 2 to the third, it was a minute 56 roughly. So it's pretty close. But yeah, so
fair
first
enough.
Entrant out. Sean, do you want to do the honors of the first entrant in the Royal Rumble 2002?
It was fucking Rikishi
with his big old ass, Rikishi. And And again, another guy we just saw in another Rumble, technically. When he was
the Sultan, right?
When he was 100 pounds lighter and a better worker, but somehow when he got fat and couldn't work as good, that's when he hit it big.
Yeah, because of his butt.
Yeah, because of his disgusting ass. Second out is interesting here. So
this is a return.
Another guy we just saw, and this is a return. Yeah, he was in WCW, and I think wasn't this when he was that 7 or no?
Yeah, well, he was Dustin Rhodes because he came out. They did vignettes for 7, and then when he debuted, he was like, "I never wanted to be 7, damn it," and like took off the gimmick.
That was a worked shoot, right? That wasn't that was planned the whole time.
Pretty bad. Apparently, maybe not. I don't know. It's a very Vince Russo plan. Nobody seems to know what the real idea was.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. But yeah, so out is Goldust. So this is his first. Apparently, they've been showing vignettes of him coming back, and I hate it when wrestlers. Almost always, we'll talk about it maybe when we get to it. But I usually hate it when wrestlers return in the Rumble because they're not going to win it. Except the one year that they did, and everyone hated it. Sean knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, he's a second entrant. It's his big return. He's not going to win. Like Goldust was never a world title contender. It feels like just a waste. Put him out there with fucking Chuck and Palumbo. Have a weird triple sexy feud with them. Who knows? Could have done better. But yeah, out is Goldust. He looks like he's in better shape than he was as 7. As 7 and Dustin, he was pretty pudgy.
Yeah, pretty much this is the best shape he's been in since he debuted as Goldust. So
and up until his AEW stuff now. He's in amazing shape now. But yeah, during his career after that, yeah. So he's out there and traditional Goldust, the gold falls from the sky, the fan.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a waste to have him come out as number 2, but I think it's just so they can give him the full entrance and make sure he's got the time for it.
Yeah, really. Except, so to quote Mr. Zane, the crowd goes mild because they really don't
Nobody
care.
Really cares.
They like Rikishi a lot more. We don't know if he's supposed to be heel or face. He's just, hey, he's nothing. No, he's gold.
Well, there's a whole lot of stuff that I think is done because some of the people backstage are like, no, we're in Atlanta. This is WCW country. They love Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, but he's not.
And throughout this match, there's a few spots like that, and we'll get there. I'll mention Atlanta, and it just doesn't. It falls flat.
Yeah, and
but the next guy in is Boss Man.
Boss Man.
If you're gonna do Atlanta, could you have done Hard Times, Boss Man here? I don't think he was actually really heavily involved in the program here. I think this was kind of a
nope. He's just at this point, the Boss Man unlike the Prince Albert Royal Battle Memorial Royal Albert Piercing Hall show, he's not a feature of the show. Can we call him a jobber? He's lower mid card.
No, yeah, and he looks kind of rough. Like this isn't the best looking boss.
Yeah, I know, and that's what happened. So he got bigger toward the end, and I don't remember him wearing like a black undershirt. I thought he just wore the vest. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He didn't look good.
He wore an undershirt, but he wasn't this big. And
I will say. His punches,
he was balding here.
His punches still look good. He's still got it.
Yeah.
So there's that, and so so they're trying to turn him out. Rikishi does his Rikishi's known for his big spinny flippy clothesline. Crazy. Mm-hmm. He's so big and he can do that. It's not hard to do a half somersault, but. Right. And then Goldust and Bossman are trying to eliminate him. I'm pretty sure Goldust actually shoves his hand into Rikishi's asshole.
Yeah,
for a while there. It's very unpleasant. I don't like it. And then one of my pet peeves, they almost have him eliminated, and then suddenly Bossman and Goldust start fucking fighting. Why? Just finish eliminating him, and then just.
Yep, it doesn't make any sense. So Bradshaw comes out, and nobody really seems to care that much.
I like him. So I want a little bit about him. I've always liked him. And I liked the JBL. I thought the JBL gimmick was good. I know that he was a little bit pudgy. What the fuck ever? Who cares? He can fucking brawl with the best of them. He's good. His clothesline from hell looks good.
I think he was cooler before the JBL turn. I think somehow he looked smaller. Somehow JBL as a character made him look smaller to me than he was.
I think it's just because he got fat. Bradshaw wasn't fat. But.
There was apparently somebody dropped him on his head, and he claims to have lost a couple inches from a bad either pile driver or suplex of some sort. But he literally went from 6'7" to 6'4" or something like that. And I was like, okay, that might be part of it, but I don't remember.
Maybe, I don't know if you can lose that. Okay, well, I'm never going to accuse JBL of, not exaggerating. So,
but yeah, honestly, I don't feel like it's necessary to follow every single person that comes in because, here's one thing I'll mention is Bradshaw comes in. Rikishi gives Boss Man a stink face, and I think that's maybe why Boss Man was having a shitty night, is because he was literally having a shitty night.
I don't know, like, as a wrestler, how you can possibly like I can accept like jobbing and shit, but like so what do you want me to do tonight, boss? Let this fat Samoan shove his asshole in your face.
And then you're gonna get eliminated. The first elimination right after that, and the crowd's gonna fucking pop for it.
Yeah, dude, I don't fucking know. Yeah, so we got Al Snow comes out. What does everybody want, Sean?
Head.
Hey, Al Snow comes out. Blah blah blah.
Al Snow gets a huge reaction. Actually, Lance Storm was in before Al Snow, I think, and then.
Lance Storm. Yep, Lance Storm ran out. He's so serious. We didn't even see him.
We didn't even notice.
But also, I want to quote Mick Foley because we're pandering to him today. Apparently, fun fact: Al Snow thought of Sacco. If you didn't know that, but Mick Foley came up with head, and an exact quote is, "Without Sacco, I would be Mick Foley, a moderately successful wrestler, whereas Al Snow would be unemployed." I didn't go look up the exact quote, but if you read his books, he has some good digs on fucking Snow throughout them. It's good.
Fantastic.
So slow, boring. So at this point, I say I feel like they're filling up the ring because one of the big guys is going to come out and clean house.
Yep.
Spoiler the fuck alert. Out comes Billy Gunn. Nope, just Billy. It's just Billy, not Billy Gunn. Billy.
Oh yeah, JR stumbles. He's like, it's the one Billy Gunn. I mean Billy.
It's just Billy. Yeah. And then so Snow eliminates Storm with it's kind of a cool little move. They superplex each other over. They're both in the apron. Storm hits his super kick, but it's blocked. Snow hits him back with it, eliminates him. So that's cool. Billy eliminates Bradshaw, kind of out of nowhere. And next out, who is it, Sean?
Keep rolling.
It's The Undertaker!
And the best part is that, again, Undertaker gets his licensed music. They won't pay for everybody's, but there's some that they're like, well, you gotta pay for that.
We'll pay Limp Bizkit. Which is funny, because like the music they used after Limp Bizkit is fine. Like his... Dead Man Walking.
Yeah, they could totally use that in place of it if they didn't want to pay a couple million for us to hear Rollin'. But maybe Undertaker is like, no, you pay for that.
You're fucking do it, yeah. So he's on his motorcycle. I want to say here, I don't know why people didn't like the biker Taker Biggie. It was fucking good. Undertaker's classic, but it's good.
This is his best heel turn, right? Like his most effective heel work. Because his original run as a heel, he's a cartoon character. His second run as a heel, he's supposed to be a satanic cult leader, and it's kind of goofy. Like,
I kind of think
either people thought it was cool or they didn't take it seriously, right?
Yep.
And then this time is the only time, because also this is his best mic work in his career, is when he's pissed off and in this character. So
absolutely.
I mean,
so basically we get Taker cleaning house. Pretty big move. He actually chokeslams Goldust out of the ring. It's not not clean flat back. He kind of hits, but it's kind of a big move. But there, Goldust's big return. That's what. So that's a spoiler of what Goldust will be for the next several years. Is an afterthought, a comedy. I will say the Booker T stuff, fucking gold, but not a serious character, obviously.
No.
So
he completely cleans house.
Yeah, he tosses out Snow, Rikishi, and Billy immediately, and he's the only one in there. He's all alone.
And then the Hardy Boys music starts. And you can tell that JR can't tell that it's Matt until he takes off the hat. Because he's like, it's Matt Hardy.
It's Matt Hardy with Lolita. And they still love each other because Edge hasn't shown, that.
There has been some dissension between the two of them.
Okay. I was going to ask you because, I think they mentioned, they worked together here. Spoiler, but, they
were losing matches, and it was because Jeff and Matt had been disagreeing, and so they're kind of hinting at some sort of split. But then this is apparently the quote-unquote end of that, and I think the reason they did that is because now they know they're doing the draft, so they have an effective way to split them up without breaking them up, which I think is probably why they went that way.
Also, apparently, Taker is in almost a mini feud with Team Extreme, the Hardy Boys. So the Hardy Boys, Team Extreme is with Lita, right? It's different. So they're kind of feuding. So I guess Taker is beating the fuck out of him a couple times, blah, blah, blah. So, Matt runs in. Matt has some clean fucking punches.
Well, wait. Oh, wait. Before that.
No.
So Matt comes in to immediately attack Taker, and Lita gets up on the top rope and does a diving
choke grab.
Yeah, but then ends up basically getting away out of it by hitting Undertaker with a low blow, which means we are now, for events, 0 in 3 for Undertaker's testicles. Undertaker's testicles have lost 3 matches now in a row.
Absolutely. Well, except the first one, they were, invincible. But now they have grown mortal. Well, since Paul Bearer's been gone, like clearly Taker's. So maybe that's it. That's it. Because think about the first match, Taker took it. There was an urn. The second match, Paul Bearer was not on his side and his balls hurt. This match, I don't see Paul Bearer. So I'm thinking I think we figured this out. But yeah,
the urn is Undertaker's jockstrap.
It must be. But yeah, the Taker cock meme is strong, and so the Matt with a side spinning neck breaker, because I like to name the moves correctly. It's not a neck breaker. I'm sorry. A neck breaker is it's different. This is a side spinning neck breaker, and then Lita and Matt just start kicking the fuck out of Taker. Taker just, and then Lita leaves randomly, even though she doesn't have to. No one cares. It's Rumble, only for Taker to immediately take control back and start beating on Hardy. And then we see the man, the myth, the legend, Teddy Long himself outside. He's still a referee. He's Teddy Long, but he's a referee. I think this must be the moment where he went, someday I'll make Matt Hardy go 1-on-1 with The Undertaker. Like, this is it. He saw it. You can see it in his eyes. He's like, But yeah, so holla player. Hey. And then we get, so Matt, you want to do this or should I? Because there's a bit of a spot here.
Oh, you go ahead.
So Jeff Hardy comes out. The Hardy Boys theme comes off. It's obviously Jeff. The problem is, Taker and Matt are in the ring. Taker's about to suplex Matt outside the ring toward the ramp side. And they start the suplex like as the music starts. Yeah. And the problem is the spot is supposed to be Jeff Hardy sprints out, saves Matt from being eliminated by pushing him back, and then they 2-on-1 Taker. But they started, I don't know if it's Taker or Matt but they started it too soon. Luckily the camera didn't catch it, but you can hear it. He started the suplex and Matt went down, waiting, and then they went back up so that Jeff could push him. So a bit of a botch there. If they did good,
and Jeff really runs fast to try and. No, Jeff doesn't even spit the water out of his mouth before because Jeff sees that they're rushing the spot. So he's like, shit.
I gave him credit. Like, Jeff fucking hauled ass to get there and do that. So that's good, and that's another thing. Like, people give Jeff shit. I know he's had some moments, but and I've never been a huge fan of him, but he does work. When he's motivated, he works. So,
and then after some bullshit for a minute, Undertaker ends up throwing
all the finishers. All the finishers happen to Taker.
But he catches Jeff
in the post motion. Yep.
Just dumps him, and then he dumps Matt again, even though Matt's
So Taker's alone again. But is that the end? No, that is not the end.
Because out comes the worst dubbed music of all the dubbed music of the night, because it just took over my speakers. I was like, what? And then it was Maven.
I thought maybe I was crazy, and it was no. Okay, so yeah, Maven comes out, and at that point I immediately, at this point I'd forgotten. I forget a lot of things. At this point I went, oh, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
So this is legendary.
This is something they show every time they go most surprising Royal Rumble.
It's interesting though, because they don't show they don't show that Maven kind of cheesed it. They almost show Maven legit do it. No. Yeah. Maven only eliminates Taker here, spoiler, because the Hardy Boys jump Taker again after they've been eliminated. All three of them just start beating on him.
And the crowd boos it, because that's not how baby faces work. They've been eliminated fairly. They didn't beat the big guy. The crowd actually boos the babyface team coming back in. So what does Undertaker do? Literally eliminates them cleanly again.
And then Maven hits the drop kick heard round the world. And Taker's out. And that spawns something that I don't know if you know, but I recall that like Taker went a bit overboard with the beating here.
Yeah, according to Maven, he said like Taker knew about this earlier in the day and was like, all right, that's what they want to do, so I'm cool with it. But it still, if you watch this back,
it is one of like there's maybe
that's
five,
one of the nastiest chair shots you will ever see.
So yeah, it looks like Maven expects it to be, you know, at 3/4 a half. Taker fucking blows his head off with a chair shot outside. Maven's busted open.
And and Taker's the one who gigs him, so he gets him a pretty serious blade job too. Like it's like one of
and poof. I was wondering because like so basically what happened is, you know, at this point, so before this happened, Scotty 2 Hotty banging it came out. Taker punched him. He's out for literally the entire 2 minutes because they want to focus. They don't care about Scotty. They're focusing this. Yep. Taker takes him, beats him through the audience, up through the thing, and am I mistaken where it looks like Maven just blatantly takes full-blown punches the whole way up? Like, it looks like Taker is just punching him in the head.
Yeah, pretty much looks solid. And he's not... Is he wearing the big gloves here? Yeah, he is.
He's wearing the big gloves, so it's a little bit projected, but it looks like those are just... like, it's not like a worked... It's a punch. And Maven, like, one of the times Maven almost looks like, he gets up and he's like, I'm going to come back, and Taker just... fucking decks him in the chin. Like, nah.
Yeah. And the cameras follow them backstage into basically Taker throwing him into a popcorn machine and then eating and spitting out popcorn.
Bloody corn, yeah.
They show some of the entrance pyro for Christian.
Yeah.
But then they
Christian
cut back to the fucking popcorn machine, and then they immediately show a replay of the popcorn machine. They just showed this thing, and then they immediately showed a replay of it again while we miss Christian getting into the ring by himself entirely. Yeah, so after another minute of Undertaker beating on Maven, we get Christian in the middle of the ring by himself wearing his European title.
Because apparently Scotty's been eliminated. So Christian eliminated Scotty at this point during this.
Yeah, we didn't see it at all.
No, not Scotty. Poor Scotty. Like, also, I think he was just released recently. Like,
he just asked for his release. He left on his own accord.
That's kind of crazy though. Thinking how long Scotty 2 Hotty was in that's a lot. That good work on him for that.
Yeah, apparently he just put Joey Janela over on an indie match and said like, "This is why I asked for my release so I could work with guys like this because I don't want to train."
That's good. That's cool. I mean, I'm down either way. I'll go with it.
Well, he was pissed off that the program is hiring like other types of athletes and no longer hiring like people who indie wrestlers.
Yeah, no, they're going, hey, you did. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, that's a whole big decision. But yeah, so at this point, Christian's out there in the title. He eliminated someone. Who knows? They said it happened, but he's wearing a belt of some sort. Luckily, they did then say, I said, is that a cruiserweight, European, like heavyweight? I don't remember. It is the European, still a thing. It has not been retired yet for a while. So, but yeah, Christian just doing heel shit. I want to say I always liked his shirt like this, like that.
Oh yeah, the fishnet shirt thing.
I was really sad when he stopped wearing it, and then they took it out of wrestling games because I always put that shirt on my guy always. And then after that, they took it. It's like I can just make it opaque, but it's gross. So I like it. And then, so guess who's out? Arms back, chest out, Sean. Who is it?
Oh, was it DDP?
It is.
Doing yoga?
The king of the master of the diamond cutter.
That's right. So that's another one. This is another Atlanta. I think they expected DDP to get a huge pop here, and people just pop more for heel Christian and way more for Scotty 2 Hotty than they did for DDP.
Like, I feel like they went way over because, like, if DDP.
Oh no, Scotty wasn't eliminated yet. That's right. Scotty was eliminated after this.
Okay.
Because what happened was DDP comes in, does a fucking diamond cutter that nobody gives a shit about.
I know, dude.
And then the crowd pops for the worm.
Okay, yeah, and I want to say, so here's the thing. Like, they thought they'd pop for DDP, which I get, but, like, why would you pop for a guy that as soon as he came over, you jobbed him the fuck out for months? He lost Undertaker's fucking wife.
Exactly. I was going to say, not just jobbed him out, but you're talking about one of the worst storylines of all time.
He's a fucking rapist. That's all. He's a fucking weird, rapey stalk. Like, I
It
love
was awful.
DDP. I loved DDP's WCW work. He's a great face. I love him now. He's probably saving lives with the DDP yoga, like legit. There are wrestlers and guys that have, legit said that saved their life. Jake the Snake, for sure, one of those.
Oh, yeah,
But
I guess they just started their podcast together, which is interesting. I wanted to give it a listen, but at the same time, the idea of listening to Jake the Snake do an audio anything seems a little bit daunting for me.
Yeah, no,
I'm going to be listening at home with heavy volume control. Sounds like some hard stuff to listen to. If I had to guess.
But we get the worm, which is it the worst maneuver? At least it's flashier than the fucking stupid people's elbow or the asshole in your mouth. I mean, stink face. Sorry.
And it teaches people how to spell. So
I was gonna say, I remember as a child learning to do the worm because of this. Yeah. I could do the worm. I did. It was one of my moves. I don't know why I wanted to learn. I did. It happened. Can't do it now. I'd fucking knock myself out. But I did it once.
Yep. So
next entrance is. Are you ready for the whole train?
And this is when Scotty gets dumped, and we don't see it because they're showing Godfather's intro the entire time.
So I'm pretty sure. Even cut away. I'm pretty sure. Like, is this Godfather's like? Is this a return? Was he out for a while? Because they make it sound like he was.
This and Val Venus, I think, is both of their returns from Right to Censor. Like, I think this is like when they return back to their old gimmicks. And,
gotcha.
And you can tell that the crowd still loves the Godfather, but they don't give a shit about Val Venus here in a minute.
No, but yeah, so the Godfather comes out, the whole train, big pop, and I was wondering, I was like, is this after? So it is, because they said he's reformed. So he's reformed from his, he doesn't want boobs everywhere ways to give me the pussy. Hey, he's back to that, which is reformed.
So now he's reformed. He's no longer a pimp. He runs an escort service.
Yeah, which is totally different. But yeah, he goes back. He brings out 4 ladies, and then hold on, wait a minute, goes back, gets more. Wait a minute, goes back, gets more, and then he twerks on their legs, which I thought was like usually dudes don't twerk on ladies' legs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how, if you guys need to go talk to your parents about how that works, go ask them. I don't know. At this point, Scotty's eliminated. They vaguely like, and Christian eliminates Scotty, but we're watching Godfather grind against.
Oh yeah, we even skip Chuck Palumbo coming in because that's like, man, who cares? And like,
Chuck, yeah.
Who
cares? I did say
but JR keeps calling him Chucky.
Yeah,
Chucky.
And so Lawler makes a very un-PC comment because, hey, get it, they're gay. That's bad. Hey, so they're heels, damn it. Yeah, so he came out. We didn't care. Godfather did his thing. I will say, Godfather, he's definitely in better shape than he's been in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him that, but it's not going to matter because,
speaking of
DDP's out, eliminated. That happened.
And speaking of weird odd couple tag teams like Taz and Spike Dudley earlier in the night, I had forgotten until recently about Albert as the hip hop hippo.
Oh, good.
When he was teaming with Scotty 2 Hotty here.
Yeah, so Godfather comes out. I just want to say, as he came out, though, he put on his Papa Shango face. He's very serious now.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, so out next is Prince Albert, Queen Britain Memorial Royal Battle Rumble from his castle for the Queen himself, Albert, the Hip Hop Hippo.
Yes.
That was a lot of words. But yes, he's there.
He's another one of those guys who he's a big guy, but they're never going to do big guy spots with him in a rumble like this.
No, I want to say I do feel bad for him because he went to Japan and he was Giant Bernard and he got over fucking huge. Like Japan loves big white dudes.
Yep.
And then he came back, so he left WWE.
Lord Tensai.
And came back.
He left Japan a white guy, went to Japan a white guy, and then came back to America a Japanese guy.
Dude, we have a brain melt because I said, look, what does Vince say? You're white. You left white. Now you're a fucking samurai. Okay. But he's immediately eliminated, so completely irrelevant to this story. It's just a nice little sidebar. I like to hit on things, except Chucky, he came out. It's fine.
Chucky.
The Godfather goes for the whole train, which is just running avalanche. Which I'm going to ask you: do you ever remember Godfather winning any matches ever?
No, but I'm sure that he won plenty on Sunday Night Heat. That's how they used to get these guys over.
So I'm wondering if, was his finisher just the hoe train and then he pinned him? I never saw it work. I don't know. So I don't know, but he did it and he got eliminated.
It must have been.
Yeah,
It
so
must have been, or he cheated.
So
'Cause I
Christian
think
and
he was
Chuck.
technically a heel.
Is it a heel to whore out women?
Well, it's supposed to be, but not. You see, it was Attitude Era, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's totally different, bro. So next out is Saturn, who, again, I like to put in tangents. If you want to hear some of the most fascinating interviews you've ever heard, go watch him on kayfabe commentaries.
The Rhino.
Holy shit.
Well, Raven used to have a pair of wrestling headgear called the Rhino.
We set up a slip and slide, and he fucking got. I'm just saying.
So Patton actually is debuting some new tattoos here, but this is obviously before he got face tattoos and went down a darker path.
He went down some stuff. Also, but big new, good to, again. We like to hit on the shit, but he's back, and recently he's sounded like he's doing a lot better. He's off of all the stuff. He's talking about CTE was a problem. He feels better, so I'm glad to hear it because Saturn, he sounds like a good dude. I'm glad he got through all of his shit. I will say though, his fucking tights. Why are you a cow today?
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting look.
But he like Taz. Here's where I get the second one. Fucking suplexes are crisp and beautiful.
Yeah, I can't remember if this is after, because I can't remember if his crazy gimmick is over here yet, because I think that was a punishment apparently for beating the crap out of a jobber. Yeah, but I mean, I thought it was the best work he did, and I know that people are going to give me shit for saying that, but that's what I remember him the most.
Dude,
for.
I love that we keep talking about this, and I say here it's unfortunate he's remembered for Moppy, even though that's probably the best work he did. But yeah, but
it's not just Moppy. It's like when he was eating at the restaurant and he starts eating the crayons and he looks at Terry and he's like, the blue ones are for fiber. It's just the whole thing. I loved it.
No, so he actually so after a match which attacked Mike Bell was the one he attacked. This was hold on, I'm trying to find. No, this was might have been right before. I think this might be right before.
01 was when he was crazy. 01 was Moppy.
I remember Vengeance is later in the year, right?
That's Vengeance 01 is December. It was when Chris Jericho won the Undisputed title. Was because I remember Moppy got thrown in the wood chipper by the Dudley, and that's when Spike turned face with Molly Holly.
No, remember Raven tried to put it in
and Terry. That's right.
Yeah. Raven tried to put it in, then Raven, it didn't work, and he just went, I don't fucking know. One of the best things ever. That was Raven's also underrated, but I can't find, I don't know, an actual date. Wait, Moppy? No, that's I give up. I don't know.
It was in 01 because I went to so many events that particular year.
I can only assume this is right after because this year he does leave, so this is probably after. Okay. I'm guessing after it, and he goes to TNA and then allegedly becomes a horrible meth addict. Fucking hobos around the country for 10 years. And reappears to give amazing interviews on kayfabe commentaries about Raven's dildo monster.
But luckily, he's still with us. This next guy who's on his way out is not. Test is the next one in, and he does not seem to get a reaction at all. Like the crowd just does not care that Test even exists at this point. And no.
Sean, you skipped a couple dudes.
I did.
Next out is not
Austin.
Test.
That's right, Austin.
Yeah, Stone Cold. Stone Cold
cleans house is what happens.
Yep, he takes everybody out, and then
Val Venus comes in, which I forgot about because I had already mentioned him. Because he came out to nobody caring either.
Nobody, it was his big re-debut. He has short hair. We're like, I will say again, like knowing what he is now, a fairly pudgy weed dealer, basically. Crazy to see the difference in like he's jacked there, and now he's a big old fat man.
Well,
not the fact people, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying different time.
I think it's clear that the office was like, well, Val Venus isn't going to work as a character anymore because they brought back the Godfather, and then that got immediately over. They brought back Val Venus, nobody cared, and so later this same year when Bischoff comes in, he ends up changing into his chief of staff, Sean Morley, which is his real name.
Yep. So it's cool though. So right here, a really cool spot. So Austin cleans house. Everyone's out. Austin reminiscent of our last show where he's alone in the ring. He starts doing push-ups. This time, no, he looks at his watch again. What? And he re-eliminates Christian and Saturn. And Chuck. I'm sorry, not Saturn. So he double eliminates Christian and Chuck, which is, so do we give him credit for 2 more? I think we can. I don't know. But so cool. Again, Austin is one of the best. If he's alone in the ring, he knows how to work it. Pretty cool. He filled the spot. Yeah. And then Val Venus came out. Interesting. Venus actually got a little bit of offense until Austin did the Luthies press, Thez press, aka the dick to face punchy attack.
Yes.
It's a better one. But next out then was Test. So there's Test. I always thought him and Triple H would be a perfect feud. Can you beat the Test? I don't know. Do you want to play the game? It wasn't a very good feud. It was just the game. The games, the Test sucks. Games are more fun than tests. Fact.
Yep.
And he's one of those guys he was one of my favorites for a little while there. And I always thought, like, look at him. Why is he not a tight, but nope, never did it. And the crowd's every time Austin punches anyone. What? It's so good.
Yep. This is before people got tired of it and were only doing it just to bitch at other people during their promos. Yeah.
And so Austin eliminates Venus and immediately eliminates Test.
And a stunner.
And then Test. And so I have a question here. I don't know if you might not know this, but they talked a little bit and said, in November, Test won an immunity battle royal.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, but then they said as he came out, but that doesn't prevent him from being eliminated. So like immunity from what?
Maybe we're so far in the match here that I'm not noticing that he's number 20. So maybe he's in the last 10.
I don't know. If anybody out there knows what the fuck this is about, please message us on one of our platforms. Tell us. I'm just curious, and I can't be bothered to look it up. But yeah, so next out. So Stone Cold's in alone, and then next out, we get kind of like the rise. This is the crescendo, like the rising crescendo of the match.
Yes,
the return of the game.
And his entrance takes 2 minutes. So this one, I'm pretty sure they actually stretch it out just a couple seconds longer before.
Yeah. So I want to say again, era of the awesome licensed themes. Is there a better one than Lemmy, aka God himself?
Well, see, I think the difference here is that Jim Johnston, I believe, wrote the song and then Lemmy and Motorhead played it. So the rights to the song still technically belong to WWF/E, which is why you'll see that.
But God himself sang and based it. So
yes,
I will say also. How did you feel about the King of Kings? I was a big fan of him during that period too.
I thought that was
thing too. Okay. Yep. Okay, because a lot of people said, just go back to the old one. I was like, no, I like. I'm sorry, side tangent. I know it's a long podcast, but that's what they are. So I saw Iron Maiden in 2000. I think it was 3. I was in 6th grade. Went with Jake. Shawn would know Jake, the Snake himself, and at that show. So it was Iron Maiden, Dio, and Motorhead, right? During that show, during Motorhead's set, Triple H, Stephanie, and Chris Jericho were all fucking there.
Oh, wow.
Because like in the back, Chris Jericho, when I went, because it was meet and greet, so I got to meet Iron Maiden. I went in there during the Dio set, so he was the in between. So Motorhead had finished, but during that, Triple H was down there, and they spotlighted him. But in the back, Chris Jericho and Stephanie and Triple H were wandering around the backstage. It was insane. I was like, I know them. Oh.
That's funny.
So yeah, random factoid. I know for a fact whenever the or Give 'Em Ed Till They're Dead tour was in Phoenix, Arizona, that year, I have the shirt. Triple H, Stephanie, and Chris Jericho. I know you were there.
That's funny.
So random, but yeah, no, cool entrance. This is before his overboard entrances. It's just some cool lasers and shit.
Yeah.
But yes, they did drag it out exactly to his entire entrance happens. Normally he's got a pretty slow entrance. It's timed when he gets to the ring, when he gets to the da 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 down, and he does the water spit part on the side of the ring. That was when he got there. So it was drug out. And then we get
stand back.
There's a hurricane coming through. And
Yes.
this is where I'm saying, like, I know Cornette hates comedy, but sometimes comedy is fucking great.
Oh, it's funny because
so good.
Jamie had come in for a second during the spot, and she actually said, "Oh, it's really hard to take him seriously with these two in the ring." And I was like, "That's the point." And then he immediately goes into the double choke slam spot.
Tries to goozle both of them. Like, that's just okay.
They look at each other, and they both decide to toss him over, which was great.
I love it. Like, I love Hurricane. I thought it was good, but there are comedy. Like Shark Boy was a comedy character. He was fucking good. Shark Boy 316 was also good. Hurricane, fucking good. Hurricane is how you do a superhero. I'm sorry. I love Nikki Ash, but just no.
You can't take it seriously. You got to not take it.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. Like, you need to be the superhero in training is what you should be. And get the Hurricane back to mentor you to the women's title.
Well,
did I just give them a storyline? I'm just saying.
I think so.
If you want to call me, hit me up. Tony Khan?
Next, we had Farouk, which he was here just to get eliminated. He literally got stunnered and clotheslined. Like stunner from Austin, clothesline Triple H, dumped. And then we get Mr. fucking Perfect. This is one of the coolest surprise entrances.
So this is probably the only one in any really Royal Rumble. So the other surprise entrances were technically, I guess you could say, Godfather, Val Venus, Goldust, because we didn't know. Well, Goldust we knew technically. He wasn't surprised. We knew he was coming back.
Yeah.
But
in the intro video, like the opening package of the night was Mr. Perfect was in it, but I don't think that was the original opening package because, like I said, they've removed some songs.
But so Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, he comes out, and it's crazy because he actually has a big moments. This kind of gets him a contract. Quite literally, this performance gets him a contract.
Oh yeah,
which unfortunately ends up with the plane ride from hell. If you don't know what that is, holy shit, go read about it.
Yes, go check out that Dark Side of the Ring episode.
Man, but so it happens. He has a good showing. I'm surprised he stayed in there that long, but it's really good.
Yeah, he ends up one of the final three.
Yeah, he's in the ring for 15 minutes actually. So he's a 25th entrant. So that does tell you a little bit about the end of the Rumble. So a lot of times, the Rumble's kind of balanced. This one's really star heavy toward the end. Like 20 and longer, we're getting 20 and later, we're getting big names. So Perfect comes out, big, fairly big pop. Even though he's got like the very old shitty entrance, like they could have updated it a little bit.
Well,
but it's the original. They're like, no, you're here for a night. Who cares? Which is what I think happened. He was only there. He was contracted just to do the Rumble.
Yeah, well, there's one spot when he gets almost co-eliminated. Yes, I think it is by Austin and Triple H together, or it might be Triple H and Angle together later in the match, but I can't remember which two. But he just spits his gum up in the air and swats it away.
That's one thing.
It's just perfect.
Yeah. That's one of the things, though. Like we do get to see Angle and Hennig, which is like realistic. That's a dream match right there. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't think we ever see them one-on-one. We only get to see him here, which is one of the cool things about the Rumble. Like earlier we said in the the Battle Royal at Albert Prince Hall, man, we got to see Michaels and Ric Flair, which we wouldn't see for decades, literally. So the Rumble is cool for that kind of thing.
Yeah, even Meltzer here in his notes wrote, after Farouk and Test had been eliminated, when Perfect came in, unlike the last two guys, they were selling for him like he was one of them. Yeah, and then so Perfect is holding his own against Austin and Triple H before, and wait for it, the two-man power trip makes its return and begins dominating the Rumble. So they take it over, but next out is Kurt Angle, and I'm glad to hear that they're already chanting "You suck." I'm glad. Like without the "You suck" chant in his theme, is it even his theme? No. It's right,
not.
But I love the crowd. They keep it going, and then it turns into a "You suck what" chant. Like there's a divided chant.
So good. I know it's so good. So obviously Kurt Angle's a heel, but he's like a heel that like you hate, but like you fucking love him because he's a goofy. He's good and he's goofy as shit. You love him.
Well, yeah, it's Kurt Angle with hair, so he's definitely goofy.
And
as shit. Kurt Angle with hair is different than Kurt Angle with no hair.
A few months later, I believe, like Sean said earlier, is when Edge shaves him, and then Edge gets hurt, and Kurt Angle does one of the greatest gimmicks of I grew my hair real quick, Vince. And fucking Taker, that where Taker just like, what the, what? Yeah, I'll team with him. Oh, dude, this era is
it was fantastic. Good. And then speaking of hair, the next guy in is a Big Show with hair.
Yes, it's weird. Dude, we're on the same, because I said this is Big Show, but it's a weird Big Show. He doesn't have long hair still. He's not bald yet. He's like the in the middle kind of pudgy dude with short hair Big Show, and he does Big Show things of being he does.
It's at this point in the match that I realized that apart from or actually, no, it's not even at this point in the match, because it's the next guy who comes out because Big Show, he doesn't even clean house because they already gave that spot to Taker, and they've done it with Austin. So basically Big Show's here to do big guy stuff, but not clean.
A lot of headbutts.
So the next guy out is Kane.
Yes.
And
so
it was at this point that I realized that apart from Kurt Hennig, who is no longer with us, every single guy in the ring at that point now shaves his head or is bald.
Yes. So I want to ask you, and I feel like we're gonna have to
Triple H.
So what is Kane? Kane is May 19th, right? That's his thing.
Yes.
I feel like maybe I don't want to talk about it now. Maybe we need to save this for a bonus video, but we need to rank the Kane attires through his career. Maybe for May 19th, we'll release a YouTube. Keep an eye out for that, because I'm going to force that to happen now, because Kane has had a lot of attires and personas. May 19th, it'll be out. We'll rank that shit. So won't spoil it now, but keep an eye out. But this one's up there. It's pretty good.
Yep.
But yes, Kane comes out and blah blah blah. Kane and Big Show do the big man. I'm not going to go down. You're going to go down thing. They do a double goozle. So, for those of you that don't know, I'll use that word a lot. So the goozle is technically the like the choke of the choke slam.
Yeah.
That's a goozle. Yes. So if I ever say goozle and you're like, what the fuck? Are they jerking up? No, it's not that. The goozle is where you grab their throat. That's the part. Mm-hmm. So they do a double goozle, but Kane goes straight to the dick and kicks him, and then does a body slam over the top rope on Big Show, which I will say is impressive, but it ain't no fucking Cesaro body slam, right?
No, but I mean, for what it's worth, everybody all the time talks about how Kane is one of the strongest dudes in the business, and at this point, Big Show is one of the biggest sizes he was ever in his career.
He's pretty enormous, yeah.
So you can see Kane struggling, and despite the fact that Kane is renowned as one of the strongest dudes, so it must have been
a big deal,
dead weight load.
But again, if you guys are watching this and if you want to see, in my opinion, the greatest body slam, I'm sorry, don't go watch the Hogan one, because Andre his fucking arms are now the Cesaro body slam to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on Big Show at WrestleMania, whatever it is. Just Google it.
I think that was 31, because that was the outdoor one when Rollins ended up cashing in.
Yeah, but no, that is far more, because it's like Kane, when he body slams, he can't get him, like, he gets him held, but he can't get him up, like to the press point. He kind of just dumps him over. Cesaro full on gets him up and fucking flings him. So Cesaro, one of the biggest guys that Vince has fucking whiffed on in a while. Nuts.
I don't know if maybe Kane's supposed to intentionally, like, if maybe this was all part of the story, because now he's blown up and he immediately walks into a stunner, which he sort of no sells, like he stands straight up from
and
it.
And then Angle Olympic slams him over the rope.
Yep.
And
which looks really cool. But the crowd did not like that, which I had to think about it. And I think it was just the year before this that Kane set the elimination record. I believe that was the Royal Rumble 01. So they were really wanting to see more of that shit.
And also, you also have to think about it like, well, you don't have to think about it. But fun fact, it's the Olympic slam still. We won't hear that much longer, because the Olympics they threatened to sue the fuck out of Vince for that. And they changed it to the angle slam. Same move. Is it very effective? No, but it works. I'll give it to him. It's like the FU. Like, is it a really devastating? No, not at all. But you know what? I'll give it to him. It's iconic. It's easy to do. You can do it against anyone. Like, it's not like Jericho with the Lion Tamer where you can't do it against Big Show because his legs weigh more than your entire being.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah,
when the clock starts counting down here, the crowd knows already that it's RVD. Like, people are just starting to do
I don't know how they knew it, but like, so was his song dubbed over? Do we just not get his good song, or is this before he had it?
I think it's dubbed over because well, maybe not though, because Forcible Entry was later this same year, so it's hard to say.
So it's
really hard to say.
I specifically mentioned several times in this, like, that doesn't sound right, and I'm like, it's RV. I said RVD's awesome, but without his awesome theme from Forcible Entry, everyone loved him. He's still great, but where is it? So I didn't know. It might be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, They missed the mark on pushing him around like this time.
Yeah,
like,
so at this time, he's a mid-carder at best.
Yeah, and the crowd wants him to win this. Yes. You can tell. He's the favorite.
Yeah, so I say that RVD is one of those guys. Like, does anyone in the business ever not like? No, every fan of wrestling has always liked him as a heel, as a face, and now as a fucking crazy man. It doesn't matter. We've always loved him. He's great.
According to JR, at this time, he was basically being considered as like the quote unquote breakout star of the alliance. Like they put more faith in RVD than even in Booker T. Right. And so like it's a bummer that it seemed to end short, and he ended up kind of in a mid card. Like he ended up tag teaming with Kane, and it's not like he wasn't in a featured spot.
And I mean, that was a big. He
could have been a main eventer here. And honestly, in retrospect, spoiler alert. Triple H wins this match. All right, so if we went on to have RVD face Chris Jericho, maybe that doesn't fit.
That might have been one of the best matches ever. I don't know
exactly. Like, think about how good of that as a main event Mania match. Fuck. Maybe it doesn't fit on a main event Mania with Rock Hogan, which is this Mania.
Yeah, put it under it.
But like, that is a match I don't think we got on that caliber, and I'm thinking about it a lot. RVD should have won this match.
No, I'm sure
once he's out here.
I'm sure we saw them wrestle at other points, but I don't know if we ever got I'm sure in ECW they may have. Well, I don't know, because Jericho wasn't like a top tier, and RVD was, so maybe we did. I don't know.
Yeah.
But RVD comes out, and RVD hits a huge one of the best frog splashes. Is there a more impressive, a lot of wrestlers can hit good moves. RVD's 5-star frog splash has to be one of the most impressive moves. He landed on, was it angle, I think, from at least 3/4 of the ring. He ran up and hit it at fucking massive. So it was dope. It was RVD is one of, I know you might not like high flyers. He's not even a high flyer, though, really. He only does a few high-flying things. He's just athletic and does nutso shit. RVD is fantastic. He needs more respect in the history of the business. I don't know where he's at.
Then
he's amazing.
Our next one out is the last one, right? And who to thunk it.
Yeah.
Because they don't really tell you this entire match until this point, and then they're like, and next is number 30. And I think, again, this is the higher-ups thinking he'd get a bigger reaction. You're here in Atlanta. He's a long-time WCW guy.
Yeah,
it's
until
Booker T.
Him. Yeah, but he gets nothing. No one cares.
Nope. The crowd really wanted RVD. They didn't want Booker T. So what do? They have Booker T immediately eliminate RVD, basically.
So I will say, I feel like that was... You remember when Bryan got eliminated and everyone fucking shat on the match, the entire match after? At least they were smart enough, hey, Wyatt is a heel. He should eliminate the guy that they want to win. Like, right here, you're like, well, right. Booker T, you were trying to push him as a face, kind of, at this. Like, you're trying to turn him. Why would you have him eliminate RVD? I don't get it. I don't know. So immediately RVD's gone, and then Booker T immediately also gets taught. Like, he's in there for 30 seconds. He's gone. What a wait. Like, it's classic 30-man. It's a waste of a spot. Like, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. And, but the one thing that they do is they immediately make up for Booker T doing that with a stunner and elimination. Like, it seems like they knew how to get a crowd to swallow shit they didn't want to see.
Yeah, he does do Spin-a-Rooney, so that is the thing at this point. But,
Well, yeah, and they're like, how egregious is it that you would stop in the middle of a Royal Rumble and do a Spin-a-Rooney? But yeah, he eliminates RVD, does a Spin-a-Rooney. Right, but he's a heel, so how dare heels enjoy their moment?
Grumble. Yeah,
That's
so he's
excessive
out.
celebration. But like that, I seriously think that that's something the WWE doesn't do anymore. They do something to piss you off, and then they used to do something to immediately make you, well, here's some sugar to take with the medicine. Nowadays, they just, nope, fuck you, take it and like it.
Yeah,
because I think if you didn't immediately have Stone Cold eliminate Booker T right after that, the crowd would have been pissed for the rest of this match. Nowadays, they definitely would have been.
Yeah, so we have a cool little sequence here, though. So Triple H almost hits Austin with the pedigree. Austin gets out, catapults Triple H into the turnbuckle. Triple H takes a fucking, probably the highest I've ever seen him bump, and he comes out into an Olympic slam, so we get like a bunch, and then Angle hits 3 Germans on Austin. They say the taboo words. They say the Rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit. They say the words. Not bleeped here. So, but then Angle gets greedy, goes for 4th. Austin, as Austin is wont to do, just kicks him in the dick. He's like, "Nah, fuck this. Get out of here. Bye."
Right.
So Austin goes over, but he rolls back in. So that was his first close call of the night. We're getting extreme. Austin then takes Perfect out and beats him. Angle makes a save by throwing Austin into the steps. So we're getting into that, like, why are you preventing other people from being eliminated kind of thing. But Austin goes back in. So Austin's out.
Yep.
Yeah, Austin's out. So Austin takes out Perfect after this.
And it's at this point, it's at that point that I go, okay, so Austin's out and you're left with 3, but who in this crowd possibly believes that WrestleMania is about to be Chris Jericho versus Mr. Perfect?
Yeah. So Austin, I'll give it so Angle technically, I think, eliminated Stone Cold. I think that was the legal. It was so Perfect and Austin were fighting. Stone Cold Angle kind of flips him over. The Stone Cold does what Stone Cold does, goes outside, gets a chair, cracks everyone over the head, and then at the last second, I was thinking, not remembering, like maybe he won't hit Triple H because of the 2 men. Oh, nope, he does. Everyone's down in the ring. Austin cleans house. He's pissed off. Fuck this Rumble. Even though at this point I do mention, is Austin or Michaels the greatest Royal Rumble competitor of all time? It's one of the two.
Think it's got to be Austin.
I think it's got to be. No, it's got to be Kane. It's got to be Kane.
It's got to be Kane.
No. But,
well, I mean, Kane had a pretty dominant 01. But,
fun fact right here, we actually hear. So Austin got his 36th elimination in this Rumble, which was the record that was held for 8 years until Michaels broke it in 2010.
Okay.
So Kane's dominant, but he's never. I think Roman probably would now be. I'm sure Roman has all the records now, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Austin's gone, but he cracks everyone over the head with a chair before he leaves. As he's going, the Stone Cold side head. Fuck this shit. I'm Stone Cold Steve. Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah.
And so all 3 guys are down. There's a little bit of a pause. I like a little bit of a down point here. This is perfect because now we have 3 guys. As Sean said, it's not going to be Perfect versus Jerry, obviously. And at that point, so we get Angle almost accidentally eliminates Perfect. So they're working together against Hunter, heels versus face. I guess Perfect is a heel. I don't know.
I mean, he's returning. So, but he's traditionally been a heel.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's.
So he's holding Triple H for a clothesline from Angle. Triple H dodges. Angle he clotheslines Perfect, who goes over but comes back in. At which point Angle does the classic, I'm not going to look at wrestling. I eliminated him. Fuck it, I'm going to go away. Spoiler alert, that comes into play in a second. But Perfect then comes back in and attacks Angle. He hits a perfect plex, which, to be fair, is just a fisherman suplex. It's not really
into a pin. It bridges into a pin, which doesn't really work here. Yeah, and he does still do it for a second.
Of course, yeah. And then, but then Triple H immediately tosses Perfect. So,
he at first he does that snap over move on Angle too.
What's the John Cena one? Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what's called, but he does another move, and then Triple H tosses him. So, So we have Triple H and Angle last. So we have the returning dominant baby face, I guess, technically, versus Kurt Angle, who may or may not be fucking Stephanie sometimes. We don't know. Who knows?
That's supposed to be the story here, which is kind of a
So they actually get a couple minutes here, and I will say, as always, these two have really good chemistry. Like, it's hard to say Angle doesn't have chemistry with anyone, right? He's so good with everyone.
Right, and this is only 2 years into his career, basically, which is kind of crazy to think about.
I don't think there's another wrestler in history you can say had a better rookie year than Angle. Like, no chance. He fucking
no way.
Easily. But yeah, so they have really good chemistry. They go back and forth. They're going full tilt, so it's pretty impressive because Triple H has been in the match for about 20 minutes at this point, and Kurt Angle's been in there for 15. So they didn't just get there. They've been working a bit. Mm-hmm. And so that's cool. Yeah, so they're going full tilt. Angle throws Triple H over. Triple H stays on the apron. He brawls his way back in, does a diving choke thing. I don't know if I've ever seen him do before.
No.
It's
and
weird.
He ends up doing like the Undertaker choke. Like he holds him down on the mat.
Yeah, like I thought it was like a diving forearm, but then like they're like, he's choking him. I was like, okay, but so Triple H nearly goes over, and we have another pet peeve of if you're in a fucking
dingly.
If you're in a top rope over the top rope elimination fucking match, don't celebrate because you threw them over because So Angle, I will say Angle probably has the best celebrations of any human in wrestling because he goes all in like, I won the Olympics again, fuck yeah! And then Triple H.
And he's in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta too, so that's where he won Olympic gold.
Yeah, and we have a big possible spoiler alert. I don't know. So he turns around. Triple H is doing the I'm the game, and then he does the suck it, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
And then takes out Angle and tosses him, and Triple H is your winner, and he gets I'd say a big reaction. I still felt like fans, even at this point, they don't want to cheer Triple H. He's a natural heel. They want to boo him. He's like Edge. Like, I get you're trying to push him as a face, but they're just like, it's almost, I really felt like Angle might have been like the face of this final two here.
Right.
But yeah, Triple H wins. Triple H has won, and we're officially over with our Battle Royal Rumble fucking month. Thank God, because they're long and it's a lot.
Yes. And so, as a whole, well, I didn't write down everybody's, honestly, but most of these guys just did play-by-play in their reviews for the Rumble itself.
Yeah.
But
are there any are there ratings? Do they have any ratings?
Meltzer gave it 3.5 stars.
Out of 5.
Probably the best Rumble in years at 3.5 stars. So yeah.
Okay, but he didn't go into detail. He kind of that was it.
Well,
right?
he broke it down into like who was eliminated and the spots, but he didn't really, other than a few little inklings here and there about one or two things. He didn't say much about the whole match.
As EWR can attest, I don't rate battle royals, but I tried, so I gave this one a 7.5 out of 10.
All right.
My first point, I was going 7, but then I was teetering. I was like, "This is really good. Is it good?" And I couldn't go 8. So a 7.5. It was a good show. It was a good Rumble. I gave the Rumble a 7. It was a good Rumble. So same score. It's the same score as my 97 Rumble. It's a different Rumble. So that one was Austin dominated. This one kind of Austin also technically dominated, but it's at.
This one scored really well with the Wrestling Observer readers. The 373 of them gave it a thumbs up. 1 gave it a thumbs down. 23 gave it a thumbs in the middle. So that means 94% thumbs up for this event.
I mean, I have to agree. If you're only giving a 1, 2, or 3 like that, I hate. That's why I like
thumbs up,
stars.
Thumbs down, or thumbs in the middle.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up show, obviously, but that's kind of whoever gave it a thumbs, was that Cornette? Cornette?
It was one
Cornette,
person.
Where are you? Cornette, hey, come on now. Corny,
no, you know what?
Bro.
No, Corny would have given it a thumbs up because Corny would have loved Ric Flair versus Vince enough just to rate the show good on that.
So as is my thing, I did do some tallies. So Austin and Taker were the leaders in the Rumble with 7 eliminations each. I like to make an MVP for Battle Royals Rumbles. Unfortunately, it couldn't be Taker because he was only in there for about 7 minutes. Whereas Stone Cold was in there for something like 25 minutes. However, Triple H was also in there he was the second longest, 23 minutes, just under, and he won. However, he only had 4 eliminations. I ended up giving my MVP to Stone Cold here. I felt like Stone Cold was the story. Triple H was the returning guy. He won, I get it, but I feel like the crowd, they wanted Stone Cold to win. That was it's hard as a returning face when there's a baby face that's more important than you, you know? So I feel like they had to, like, they knew, like, they wanted Triple H to win. They had to do it. I still feel like Stone Cold was the MVP of this Rumble. Just like the last one. Not as dominant, but is pretty close.
Yep. Well,
so what was the final rating? Did they final rate the show, or did I miss that?
No, they don't really final rate the show other than like the reader poll. So, you know, his total for each match, obviously the highest match rating came from Jericho versus Rock from him. I believe Alvarez rated the Ric Flair McMahon match the highest. But I didn't really keep track of all of Alvarez's ratings, and he doesn't rate Battle Royals either. So there's that. That's
fair. So can I run through my stars and final rating real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so the final rating, I gave this one 7.5 out of 10. I spoiled it a second ago. I read the wrong one. Blah. It was a good show. Rumble was good. Undercard was good. The main event title match was good. Good. I almost went 8, but, you know, when you get this high in the ratings, it starts getting really picky. So I decided that, you know, 7 was a little low. 8 was a little high. 7.5. The only negative was the women's match. And the only reason I give it that, so I want a caveat here. So a terrible garbage match does not have to downgrade a show. If it's a 10 out of 10 show with a shitty match, it's fair. It can still be a 10 out of 10. As long as that match is, you know, there's a purpose. A restroom break. This one was not long enough to do that. So the show was not broken up at all. It was just like early on, it started, it was good. It got longer into the Rumble. There's no break. So if they had made this maybe an 8 to 10 minute match, just drug it out, it would have been a little bit better. Maybe an 8. So I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. And I think it was a good show. It was better than the last Rumble by a bit, just because the undercard, so Michaels headlined the last one, so kind of flipped.
The last one we watched, 97.
Yeah, but you know, the non-Rumble match, this one was clearly better, clearly, the undercard. Yes. And the Rumbles, I feel, were very comparable, the way they were, Austin dominant. Yeah. So I gave it a 7.5, and then the 3 stars of the night, the first one was really tough. So the 3rd star, I actually cheat a little bit here, but they're mine, so I can fucking cheat. It's Chris Jericho or The Rock.
Okay.
And the reasoning is they both did very well in their match, and I think it's a toss-up. I personally prefer Jericho, but I don't want to be biased. I feel like The Rock did exactly what he should. He held his own. It was good. So either or could be there. I said Angle would be the next in line, but it's only, I already cheated once. We can't cheat twice. So 3rd star, Jericho or Rock, your pick. They both did great. Number 2 might be controversial. Triple H.
Okay.
The winner only gets 2. He won the Rumble, lasted a while, great ovation, first match back after intense quad injury. Good work all around, but number 1, you know who it is. It's Austin. Again, another Rumble. I see a pattern with Austin in Rumbles. He's won 3. He almost won this one. So he's won 3 at this point. He almost won this one. Would have won 99 if the Vince, you know, that didn't happen. But yeah, I think it's safe to say him or HBK is the best. But yeah, Austin I think was the MVP of the show as well. So
well, yeah, I found some follow-up from the week following the event of The Observer. He said the 15th annual Royal Rumble, as the WWF's first major show of the year, was considered a huge success.
Yep.
Even though Triple H as the Rumble winner was largely predictable, it was the name that made the most sense to win at this point, given where they're planning to go. The show on January 20th at the Phillips Arena in Atlanta seemed to signify at least a short-term philosophical change in booking, in that common sense and long-term building seems to take precedence over unpredictability that goes nowhere. The slowing down, in that the 3 weekly title changes and 2 weekly turns philosophy of hotshot booking is out the window, led to a strong show. I know, what about the Hardys? The most important thing is, by not being overbooked, the key aspects of the show, Jericho beating Rock, Triple H winning the Rumble, the Undertaker elimination angle, and the push of the returning Mr. Perfect, all made an impact in that people remembered them when the show was over. While not the level of pay-per-view as last year's Rumble, which featured the Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho ladder match, while this show had nothing that will likely be as remembered as match of the year, there was nothing particularly bad on this show. Wow. And there was enough very good to make it an easy thumbs up.
Yeah. That's fair.
He says the show drew a sellout of 12,915, paying $859,690, as well as another $142,615 in merchandise. So they made over $1 million on this show.
That's about right.
And that sounds like there was probably 4,000 or so comp tickets or whatever, because they said there were 16,101 or something.
Yeah, and there's always comp tickets. It just depends how many. But except AEW, who's actually legit selling shit out. Because
interesting point though, it says it was no surprise Triple H won the Rumble, which in lasting 69-22 made it most likely the longest match in the history of the WWF.
I'm pretty sure that lasts for 1 year.
Well, the previous record was the Royal Rumble on January 24th, 1993 in Sacramento, won by Yokozuna. That went 66-35. So apparently, going that much further over 1 hour is pretty rare in WWF history, at least here by 2002. So maybe today we've had some longer Rumbles, but
yeah. Oh, I'm Googling it. Longest Rumble match was hold on. The longest Rumble match was the 02. That was the longest Rumble.
Wow.
Well, we're going off Bleacher Report, so I think. But it says here.
Oh, we've got, yeah.
I think right. That's accurate, yeah. Because I know, so I think Benoit's was the longest number one to win, I think. He had the longest. Yeah. Except I think, didn't somebody beat his record? Because, what happened?
They had to. They had to. They literally went out of their way to do that. I think it might have been, I don't remember now.
Yeah. Longest Royal Rumble competitor. Things I should have thought about earlier. I can't be bothered to find it. It's somebody, maybe Ray, someone like that. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, so
this
was so technically, so we just learned this was the longest Royal Rumble in history, including the 40-man. I don't want to talk about it. Why did you have him win this Rumble? I wish I was dead. Kill me, 40-man Rumble. That was horrible. Yep. I'm not saying I hate Alberto, but I don't know why he got pushed so hard on. I have no idea.
No, But
yeah, so that's it. Our Mania is set 2 months from 2 months from now. We're gonna see Triple H versus. Is he the Ayatollah of Rock and kind of? He's kind of stopped. He's just Chris Jericho.
I think we're pre-highlight reel by just a little bit. So,
but we're post Ayatollah because that was kind of like So we're Chris Jericho versus Triple H, and everyone that knows wrestling knows. We have to watch.
Yeah. Well, next week on this show, we're going to be doing something different with some NXT action, isn't that right?
Oh, yeah, my choice. So I picked the next show. Do you want to tell them what one it's going to be, Sean?
Well, I believe it was NXT. It was New Orleans, right?
It is. Yes.
It was TakeOver New Orleans. Which year was that?
I will find that out. It's the one with.
Is it 2018? I believe, or 20,
I believe. Yeah, it's Ciampa versus Gargano.
Okay.
So we'll figure it out. But if you've never seen that match, guys, tune the fuck in because that is. One of my favorite matches in probably the last 5-10 years.
TakeOver New Orleans was April of 2018.
Yes. Yep, there you go. It was Gargano, Ciampa, and I think that was their second match of their... I don't know. I feel like they're kind of like the Sami Zayn, El Generico, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen of this era. Like, they're destined to fight forever. It's just going to keep happening. I'm hoping Ciampa loses the title, doesn't resign. Him and Gargano go to AEW and continue because Ciampa is one of the best heels who never got pushed in the main event. Like he's not, on one of the main shows, and I'm glad he's not because look what the fuck they did to Ricochet. Jesus.
Yep.
Sean. Ricochet. What the fuck?
He's just happy to be there. He's just happy to be there.
I'm sorry. I know it's a side tangent, but like, I'm really happy that Kevin Owens is getting $2 million a year to be there. But as a wrestling fan and an Owens fan, I really wish he was in AEW right now.
Of course. And I can't wait. I don't think Ricochet will probably stay in WWE forever, and it'd be cool to
Yeah,
You know.
unless they go in and they're like, hey, because I feel like a year ago they would not have paid Owens $2 million, no chance. But I think Vince finally went, whoa, okay, hold on, shit, okay, well we have to pay somebody, we have to pay a couple people.
Yep.
So
and then we'll be picking up the 1997 and 2002 pieces again next month with the Final Four in '97, which the original idea was to
that's a big one.
doing the Final Four of the Royal Rumble, but now it is actually to determine the vacant WWF title because within the last two events, Shawn Michaels lost his smile.
And did he lose his smile, or did he not want to lose to Brett this time either? Who knows?
Exactly.
But Shawn said he didn't want to lose to Brett. So, like, again, that's one thing I like about Shawn. Like, I don't know if you guys, anyone here saw the Brett and Shawn like documentary they did, kind of.
Oh, the rivalries thing that they did on the network.
Shawn seemed really uncomfortable. He's like, "Yeah, I did that," and Brett's just like, "I knew." It's like, ooh, like Shawn has come clean and said, "Yes, I was a piece of shit. I did all that. I'm glad they've kind of buried the Brit. You know, they buried it. I get it." But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. So there's a bunch. Shawn's going to have a pretty big intro for the next 97 video.
So that's what we've got going on for 97. And for 02, we're going to have No Way Out 2002, which is when Vince McMahon is he's upset about losing pretty much clean to Ric Flair. So he's about to inject his own creation with a poison.
His own poison.
And
And spoiler alert, I accidentally somehow got to choose both of our bonus pay-per-views for these 2 months. So we're also going to be looking at one of the greatest pay-per-view events ever, possibly AEW Full Gear 2019.
All right.
So that one's good. And then we have a blank one. The end of the month is blank. If anyone has any suggestions, February 25th, we're looking for a topic. Otherwise, we'll pick one ourselves. Shawn gets his choice. But don't let Shawn pick. He'll pick TNA, and no one wants to fucking watch that shit. Hey.
Well, it's not even TNA. I'm going to wait until we start hitting the actual first TNA events here in 2002 before I suggest those. But
I don't care enough about them to know when they started. But yeah, no, we're looking for someone. Give us an option. What do you want to see? We have a free slot, and then we have Mania month. We won't tell you what we're doing. You already know 2 of them. We'll tell you the others after. It's a bit backwards. You'll find out. And then the rest of the year, we've got 2 blank slots open every month for your suggestions, guys.
Yes.
What do you want to see us review? I don't care year, place.
If you have questions for any of the events we're covering, we could be filling up our rambling time right now by asking or answering your questions. You ask them, we answer them.
Or we ask them, you answer them? No, that doesn't work.
We could do that too, but that'll be on Twitter, probably not on here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you guys watch. Keep an eye out. We're going to be doing some stuff. Keep an eye out, guys.
And that's at talking_smark on Twitter. That's TalkingSmarkWrestling at gmail.com. And then you'll see us soon on Twitch. And that's just Talking Smark. And for now, and
if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you. Shawn, peace out. We wouldn't.
I was going to say, piss break.
Oh, no, we did that earlier. God damn it, Shawn. You ruined the whole segment. Son of a bitch.